Rip Hamilton. And Kobe almost gets it on the ground. Going to be a jump ball because of, look at him chirping.
Kobe said there's a reason why people think I'm on.
7 and 4 with 5 assists for Kobe. It'll be a moving pick underneath. Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton with the surge, the catalyst, Farmar. Kobe blanketing Hamilton. The help defense while Monovich choked it. Down to 43% after 51% towards the end of the first half. Quick double on Hamilton. Saving grace tonight offensively for the Lakers as Kobe shadows Hamilton. They go down to Reggie. Kobe on the run out of position. And they find him a pick and roll with Kobe. Now Murray, shot clock coming down, gave up the drill. It'll be Rip Hamilton up against Kobe. Long three. But effective so far for the Lakers.
And I always find something wrong.
You have to keep your eyes on.
You've been putting up with my shit just way too long.
Welcome to the page. It's your host here, Lord of Lips, with another installment. It's been a while. It's been a while. I was so glad. Everybody knows what to do here. Like and subscribe to the page, comment, hit the bell as well. And thanks for everybody for tuning in. But I wanted to start off exactly how I started off with that video. And the first thing I do want to say is, happy birthday and rest in peace to Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba. It was his birthday. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, it is time. It's time to rumble. We just came across his birthday 2 days ago, or actually 3 days ago as of this recording. So I definitely want to give him a shout out and say happy birthday and also rest in peace, and that we are still thinking of you and Gigi and the entire family, the Bryant family that you left behind, Vanessa and the kids as well. Natalia's off doing great things. And wanted to start off, it's a perfect way to start this thing off, because there still is a concentrated effort out there, to diminish this man's greatness, diminish this man's legacy. And, a few years ago, before he passed, this would have been good bait for me. This would have been very, very good bait, this whole Kobe discourse out there. It would have been a perfect time for me today, just knowing how I am with me. So I would have, thrived if this was 2017, 2018, 2019, But after, he passed away in the way that him and his daughter passed away, it changed a lot. I was already kind of growing into that understanding at the time anyway, before he passed, because, by the way, not only was Kobe a great basketball player, but he was just a great philosopher, a great thinker in this time. So, about the same year that he died, a little bit before then, he was going on a press run promoting his Wisnart series. I have the books here. Everybody should read those, especially people with children should read those. So you can get quite a sight into somebody. We all know Kobe is a genius, and people kind of classify him that, especially on the basketball level. And just like kind of looking back on his career, the bilingualness and different things like that. A lot of people have come around to realize just how smart and dedicated of a worker that this man was, and how just genius he was. Just not at basketball, but at multiple. He was just talented at multiple things, and he took it all very serious, and he was very good at all the things he tried to do. And Kobe was dropping gems shortly before he left us. He went on a press run. He even went in through the basketball world and sat down with all the Smoke podcasts and different Knuckleheads podcasts and different people like that. But he also, made his rounds, outside of the basketball universe too, and in promoting this book and just kind of this new stage of his career that he was in. When he did that, it really changed a lot on how I was thinking about him and his legacy. So I say all that to say, Kobe Bryant movie depicting his journey to the NBA and the works. Yeah, I know. I say all that to say, this man was so much more than just basketball. You know what I'm saying? And he was so much smarter than just he was with basketball. So this whole, profound thing that's going on, we're just trying to destroy his legacy and tarnish his name, and this weird shit that the media is doing, and that certain people in the NBA are with, like Jeff Teague. I'm thinking of you right now when I'm talking about this. And it's like, y'all do know that this man passed away with his daughter in his arms falling out of the sky in a helicopter accident, right? Y'all do know that his kids are still here grieving. One of his kids, well, really two of his kids, but one of the youngest is still trying to figure out who her father is. She's coming into a little bit of understanding, and she's trying to figure out who he is. So it's very, very important that y'all understand that the way y'all are trying to write this man's name and stuff like that. Now, do we want the whole story? Does his daughter deserve eventually to have the whole story? Does she need to know about the case in Colorado? These are questions we all need to ask. This is really a bigger question about fame and the exposures to fame and how it affects your children and stuff. But, be careful on how you're trying to write this man's legacy and how people are trying to throw dirt on his name where it doesn't need to be. Sorry, something just happened. So just understand that his daughter is growing into some understanding, and she's going to have to figure out who her father is, And y'all are playing with his name a lot right now. Jeff Teague and, like I said, a whole bunch of other people. Y'all are really playing with his name. So I felt like it was important to open this podcast. This live stream, to say happy birthday to that man, because it was all cute in 2020, 2021, 2022 when you guys like used his name that whole time. The whole world stopped when it happened. Everybody gave him his flowers. It was all this and all that. And now that we're so far removed from that time frame, people are trying to show their true colors, right? They're like, okay, enough time has passed, so we can finally talk shit about Kobe and shit and say shit we wanted to say. Probably, earlier, but we couldn't say it because that death granted him like a 3-year bubble of where it was just all positive PR. And just be careful, be cognizant, because understand what kind of evil y'all are really trying to do when y'all are colluding with this whole narrative trying to shift on this man's legacy. That's all. That's really what I wanted to say and had to say about the Beam thing. I need to plug. Happy birthday to that man. And Jeff Teague, you fool out there trying to talk about you don't remember him playing defense and stuff like that. Man, Prince said something one time where he talked about people that talk shit about artists or people talk shit about him. He said he really doesn't pay it that much mind because it really just says more about them than it does about you. It says what level of understanding they even have about you or just about things anyway. So a lot of times when people are talking shit about you, it's just like, oh, thanks for showing me your hand. All you did was really just show me your lack of, any fucking intelligence. So thank you. And that's what I got to say about the Kobe thing, man. Y'all are very much, sorry, I put that on silent. Y'all are very much showing just how unintelligent and fucking stupid y'all really might be. That's all I got to say. Is my shit messed up? Give me a second. Oh my God, what is this, bro? All right, we're gonna have to rock without that. I'm trying to turn my Facebook thing on. There we go. It's not telling me who's live or anything or who's on here. Anyway, let me see. Shout out to Bean, man. That, by the way, Jeff Teague, like I said, that was great defense that you seen. Okay, let's see. Y'all want to talk about Drake's fake chain? Sometimes that guy is such a fucking idiot. Just such an idiot. I don't know if y'all want to talk about that right now just yet. Or really what I want to talk about actually is that hip hop is actually in a pretty good space outside of the drama, outside of all the beef, and obviously the dumb shit that goes on in hip hop as well. But from a music standpoint, man, it's really not in a bad. It's like, man, it's really crazy to watch in real time, like this detachment that hip hop may be having from what do I want to call it, alt hip hop, or like this. I always tell you guys, I guess I could explain it in a little bit better detail here right now, because I always say it on here that I always tell you guys that Sinners reminded me, anytime I watch Sinners, and when I first watched Sinner, and I know it was about music and stuff like that, I could not help but equate Drake being the vampire in Sinners. You know, the vampire that was trying to get into the club. Like, that's immediately where my brain went into, and just how like these vampires had to have the acceptance of the club members to get in. You had to invite them in order for them to even get in. And once they got in, they were bloodthirsty. They were bloodsuckers, right? So that was the whole parallel that Sinners was kind of offering us. We get that. But it was doing it kind of like about the whole music business and just about the whole culture. But my point is that I couldn't help but see that same refrain in this whole analogy with Drake and hip hop. You know, I could not shake that idea. I'm like, man, that's a really good analogy for what Drake represents to hip hop. You know, now I'm not saying that that's what they were putting down. Ryan Coogler, if you were, give me a holler. That's dope. But that was my takeaway from it. And I said that to say, man, like right now we're really seeing a detachment from hip hop and that vampire. And some people that were in the middle, or some people who didn't see it clearly, kind of are having trouble with this new earth, like this whole, you know, better days coming for sure. What Kendrick saying, watch the party die. I see a new earth. You know, sometimes you got to burn it down to build it up. And Nas had a song called Destroy and Rebuild too. And it was kind of that same idea. And so the people that were really outsiders anyway, last year really did divide them outside of hip hop, you know, and it is just showing who is who and what is what in hip hop. Because in one sense, you'll hear a lot of people talking about, you know, hip hop is so fucked up now after the beef. It's so fucked up. Like Boy Wonder put a tweet out today, I think, asking like, man, to all my niggas out there, like, you know, what was y'all doing? Like, what was y'all doing when y'all weren't allowed to play no Drake this last year? Like, type shit. Like, what do you play in front of the hoes if you can't play no Drake? And now Boy Wonder is a legendary producer and stuff like that. I think I've always said he was overrated to me, but he does have records out there. You know, I just don't think he's in that upper echelon. However, again, like I stated earlier about the Kobe situation, it just shows his lack of intelligence. You know, a lot of people were in the comments talking about all the great R&B artists. That's the problem that Drake put onto music. He was like blood sucking all these different genres, and that is what he was accused. That's what he was accused of in Not Like Us and all these records. That's how he's being framed. And here we got another instance where Boy Wonder, a close collaborator with Drake, one of his in-house producers, is showing that, like, dude, you sound fucking stupid. What do you mean? What can niggas listen to, bro? There's Jodeci. There's all of these legendary R&B songs that are essential to the genre, my dude, that we don't really need Drake. None of these genres need him. He don't have essentials to that genre. Now, he has great records. He has great records. He has a whole bunch of mid records to me. He has some whack records. And then he has some decent to good records. However, when you're just hopping between genres like that, and you're just doing a little bit of here, taking a little bit from here, that's where that culture vulture, that's where that term gets framed. And that's the reason why it's framed like that, is because, again, that genre could probably lose you. You're not as essential to that genre as you think, because you just dibbled and dabbled in that genre. You really didn't fully commit. So Boy Wonder, there's plenty of records, bro. Trust me, the hoes were still going. All the hoes were still getting wet. All the hoes were still shaking ass. All of the hoes were still in the clubs. All of the hoes were still feeling good off the wine. Like there's all of that been going on before Drake, dude. Like I like what? In fact, again, you know, the conversation centered around him is that some of these genres actually, now that we think about it and everybody got it written down on paper and can kind of see it for what it is, like, looks like, you know, if we're doing this era shit, it looks like all of those genres that we're talking about that he dibbled and dabbled in are kind of in a worse spot since it's been his run. Y'all say he had a 15-year run, right? Well, rap is in the worst spot it's ever been in the 15. I mean, in any era. R&B is in the worst spot it's ever been in any era. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these different places, and if you want to break down the subgenres in those things, you know, that's where Drake kind of stemmies off of. So all of those, the places, again, same conversation that I've had about LeBron and stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's not about all your stats and accolades and all the shit you put up, but it's also about how you leave the game. That is a big part in legacy. That is a big part in culture. Like that, it's how you inspire the next generation and how you set them up for actual success in that space that you're in. Like that's a part of your legacy, right? You know, the OG, the grandfather, grand Wizmaster, Wizenard, you know, you think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you know, that whole idea. It's like, you know, it's about the elder statesmen passing shit down and being able to teach the younger generation next and set them up for success and put them in the right area. And you can make the case that Drake, you haven't done that. Like I said, the stuff that you dibbled and dabbled off of, they're not in better spots that they were before they had you, man. R&B. First off, a lot of people really kind of forget. A lot of people really forget that Trey Songz had a crazy run. Now, you know, I know he got allegations out there and different shit like that, but Trey Songz had a run. You had Chris Brown, you had Rihanna, Beyonce was actually outside during the time. And then you had you had The Dream, you had that whole era, man, was Pretty Ricky, all of that shit, man. T-Pain, you had artists out there still turning the hose up, my guy. Okay, let's not get this twisted. And the same goes for rap, bro. The same goes for rap. So yeah, just to watch hip hop, and hip hop also, you know, went past its 53rd birthday, like I think last week or so, or maybe a week and a half ago. So shout out to hip hop, happy birthday to hip hop. And I just want to give a shout out to like these artists out here that are still putting on for hip hop. You got the JID album that just came out. You got the Chance album that I'm gonna talk about here in a second, and you had obviously the Clips album, and Freddie Gibbs album. Those are 4 albums that have come out this year. And there's a lot more. There's a lot of other albums, and you had a lot of artists drop. You know, there hasn't been really a shortage of music. YB is back outside dropping. You got the underground artists still dropping, doing their thing. So it's like, you know, a little bit of resuscitation going on in hip hop for actual hip hop, you know. And Earl Sweatshirt, I think it just dropped. So this to watch this detachment is very, very interesting, you know, with hip hop right now. And to watch the people either standing on the sidelines critiquing what's going on, or the people still participate. It's really interesting to see who's who. It's like there's a whole filling out process, and everybody is either getting their ticket in or not right now. So really, really cool to see. But yeah, speaking of like, you know, new artists dropping and stuff like that, yeah, that Chance, man, pretty good. I can't lie. So I did have to give him a little bit of my time here because I did spend a lot of 2019 kicking his back in, and Chance was my guy. I can't lie. Chance was my guy. I fucked with Coloring Book. I fucked with Acid Rap. I fucked with the features leading up to Coloring Book and after Coloring Book. He had a nice little run. He had a nice little run and shit like that. And then he dropped, you know, My Big Day. It was just funny. I think the weird thing about The Big Day or My Big Day or whatever it is, besides a few of those fucking songs that were weird, but the weird thing about it is I almost feel like he was just maybe a year or two too early, because when we got into the pandemic and then got out of the pandemic, there was this whole resurgence in therapy, family therapy, Mr. Morale type shit, this somber kind of thing going on in the culture where it was like a reshuffling or a rekindling with family. It just, COVID did a real number on this world and our society that we really don't talk about just yet. All right. Just that. And we know that was probably the biggest thing that's has happened in even adults' lifetime, even our parents' lifetime. There has never been a time in their lifetime where businesses were closing, the country was shutting down, other nations were shutting down. You know what I'm saying? School was out of session. You know, people had to go to school virtually for a long time. So this was a really fucking big deal that happened on the whole globe, on the whole entire scale. And I don't think that anybody has done a good job quantifying that just yet, right? We talk about the jab and the dev jab and the COVID jab, and everybody fights about the policies and all that stuff like that. But we don't talk about that period, that couple-year period, what it did for families, what it did not do for families, what it exposed. People was trying to go to therapy. People was trying to heal. A lot was going on during that time, man. A lot was going on during that time. So Chance, to me, just dropped slightly too early because he dropped in 2019 and it was about marriage and black love and all that shit. And if that could have came out like kind of after Mr. Morale, you might have Shane said thank you. You might have had something, but nonetheless, it flopped. It was not a good album. It was not received well. It really, when I think about it, and when you think about it, it was one of the biggest smears on a hot artist's name that we've seen in a long time. We haven't seen a flop like that. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the Joker 2 movie, we haven't seen a big flop like that. You know, usually everybody, Shane says that album just wasn't good. We don't even have to talk about it. He wants to get right. He wants to get right to the real good shit. But, man, you talk about, I mean, now we know like Roddy Ricch has fallen off and stuff like that, but they didn't have a project that was anticipated that knocked them off. It was more like the industry just stopped pressing that button, the baby, all that. It's like you could just kind of feel like the light switched on these artists. It was just like, okay, no more. I had an F minus, now that's behind us. Right. But anyways, so my whole point in saying all that is that Chance was actually in a weird spot because he couldn't find his legs, to me. That's what was going on with Chance these last few years. He had tested the water, I think maybe we're in 2025. He tested the water maybe 2 to 3 years ago with these little singles he was putting out with the different lettering, and the lyrics will be on the screen and stuff like that, which I thought was a really good idea. And I think more artists actually need to do that. We'll have to talk about that at another point, but more artists really need to do that to help kind of carousel these slower readers and slower interpreters, because and even dope lyricists and stuff like that may need to do that. I think that is a dope idea and a dope thing. I can't believe more artists haven't thought about doing that. So when you have a video on a song, like having the lyrics kind of play out kind of like an AI artificial like generated thing on the screen, you know, like the captions, closed captions. And Chance kind of wrote this whole thing out a few years ago, and he was trying to test the waters because it was like trying to light a trick candle, or a candle with a trick flame. You know, it was just like, it was puttering. Everything was puttery. Like he would drop it. He was testing the water, essentially. He was testing what he could do and trying to get some legs up under him. And so when this album was announced, I was still in this headspace with Chance where I'm like, and I can't lie, hopefully Shane gets on here and tells the truth, that when me and Shane talked about it, I would like slander him, like, fuck him, I'm done. But really in my brain, this is no cap, I was trying to psych myself out. I was trying to jinx myself and hoping that when he gave us this album, it wouldn't be fucking trash. Now the thing is, if it was just trash, would I have sat here and felt bad or anything? No, but I would have, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, damn, that's really fucked up. That's really crazy, bro. You're ass. I haven't really experienced that. Somebody that I put a cosign by turning out to be really ass in the end, that ain't usually my story. My story goes like, I co-sign somebody or something that the world thinks is ass, And then time passes by, and then the world has to kneel and bow down to what the fuck I said. That's typically how this goes with me, right? Not to be cocky, but that's just how this goes. And it would have been crazy to have the roles reverse, where I co-signed Chance early on, and then he gives us 2 back-to-back ass projects. It'd have been like, yikes, fuck, that's bad. So I'm glad off rip that didn't happen. However, I was not expecting this, guys. I was not expecting this in the slightest, man. Me and Shane talked about it leading up to it the night of. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Fuck all this. Like, I don't really care. We'll see. And Shane was riding. I ain't gonna lie. Shane was riding. Shane said, I was telling niggas for 2 years now that, I know this is biased for me, but what I'm hearing is the old Chance when he started this whole rollout. I'm so happy he delivered. Yep. Real shit. And I'm going to turn my chat on the thing so it comes faster here. But I can't lie. I got to give Shane his flowers. He was riding the whole time. He was certain about this early on. He was just like, he'd been saying, I think this is going to be good. And I was too scared to put my cosign behind it. So I did not. But fast forward, album drops late in the night. Shane texts. And was just like, hey, he said something like, hey, yo, this shit. He said, I'm geeked. Some shit like that to indicate that it was good. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Still, the next day, I didn't listen. Then I think it was the next day I listened, and I'm like, man, this shit. Because the thing is, man, he opened the album really good. I do got some critiques. I got some big critiques on this album. It's not a perfect album by no means. And I don't even know. I really feel like he should have an album after this. This to me was the legs. This to me was the lighten it up, getting your momentum going before you give us a bigger release. But man, he started it off good. The intro, Do or Die, No More Old Men, man. Y'all see the name of this podcast. Shout out to Hip Hop. And that's, Chance touched on this in this album. I don't want to ruin it for people, but No More Old Men, man. That's a good little thought. That's a discussion that we're gonna have to have at some point one of these days, man. It's just like we always think about the young men and like this whole war on young men out there and thinking and just the degradation of society and how it goes, but we don't tie that in all the way on the effects that really might have, all the long-term effects that has, right? So, obviously the more bastards that we see out here, the more whack ass. He said, I do too. He needs to stay away from Wayne. I deleted Tree and Burn. You block off my phone. Travesty. Yeah, for sure. It's that goofy. It's too goofy. And Chance, we don't want goofy right now. You could say goofy for later, dude. We don't want that goofy shit. Okay. But anyways, the more and more bastards out here, which there are than ever before. I mean, bastards. The less and less good old men we're going to have, right? And what does that do to the world, man? I don't think we also understand the role that good old men play in this, OGs and just good like Samaritan old men, not these freaky old men, but I mean real genuine good old men that are really trying to pass down knowledge to the next generation, really trying to teach us masonry, really worried about the fact that there's a shortage on blue-collar men out here. Just men like that. Man, they play a vital role, man. They play a vital role. You think of it's like our culture is really weird, right? It's really weird because in war, you're obviously going to have, if we draft, it's going to be the young batch, that prime batch, right? That's our best batch. That's the best cut of the steak. So we're going to give them that. But when the war goes on and it's dragging on through the rut, man, that's when you start calling on the old and the younger, but the old, and things like that. So in this whole thing of life, man, the role that old people play is what I'm getting to. The role that our grandparents play, our great-grandparents play in this is they're the last line of defense, man. They are the last warning. Like and that's why I don't play, man. I listen to the OG. I really listen, man. if you know me, man, I surround myself with older people, man. As far as like, now I have younger friends and stuff like that as well, but I just mean adults, like role models and stuff like that. I really surround. I have an older cabinet of people, you know, including my parents and family members and stuff like that. But I really be trying to listen to them because their perspective on life is obviously everybody got their own perspective on life, and everybody's perspective is unique to them and all that stuff like that. But really understanding their perspective on the like what they are and at this point in life is just like, damn. It's like, bro, you about to bite the dust, man. Of course you telling the truth right now. He said, I asked Chance what made him write a song like that. He said, nigga, this ain't no interview. I'm here to turn up. Laugh my ass off. Then he was like, nah, I just really feel like the world would be better if everyone had a grandpa in their life. That's so legit, bro. It sounds so simple, but it's so fucking legit, bro. And we undercut that part, bro. Fuck a dad. Not fuck a dad, but dads is important. Dads, you know, got their own importance and stuff like that. But even the OGs will tell you, even if you have, like my dad is a grandpa, and I talk to him, and I know grandpas out here, right? And when you talk to them, they be telling you there's no love like I be seeing them move different with their grandchildren. Everybody knows that that's the thing. Like your grandparents is like, mom and dad, you never treated us like that. You never did. Because their grandma and grandpa, like they're about to bite the fucking dust. They're on their last legs. Like this is it for them. And this is their SOS. This is their life-saving. This is their Hail Mary to the world. This is their last note. This is their, you know, mentor. Like this is it. So they be trying to give us jewels. They be, imagine how they feel, like trying to just what they see and how they perceive this life and stuff like that. And that's why I listen to them. That's my whole point. So Chance is exactly right. And that's what you get on this album. And a song like No Old Men, man. It's a brilliant song. Brilliant song, man. Brilliant song. And I'm glad that, you know, he wrote that song with that in mind. And also, Shane, I'm glad. I wish you could get on this stream and tell us, because Shane had the what's the word I'm looking for? He had I can't think of the word right now, but he went and got close up and personal to a Chance listening session. So he was able to talk to Chance a little bit here and there. And he said, letters is heat. Letters is heat, man. Writing that to the church is crazy. There's I can't stay here forever. But that's my point. Like that, the opening of this album is littered with different ideas that he wrote so fucking well about. And y'all know how I accuse Kendrick of being the best at that, sticking to a writing concept and nailing it. All three verses. Like, you know, you got a lot of artists. Andre, I mean, there's people out there that do that really, really fucking great. But, you know, I mean, you got rappers out there that sometimes lose their train of thought and just start rapping about anything and stuff like that. When you got a rapper that can pick a subject and write about it really fucking well, especially 3-4 verses, different perspectives and different stuff like that, it's like, man, that's a really good fucking writer. Not just in hip hop, not just in music, but just a writer by itself. That's a really good writer. Somebody that can do that can tell stories like that. And Chance did that, man, to open this album. So that's what I'm saying, man. Songs like Back to the Go, Drakeomania is crazy. The Negro Problem is absolutely insane. And then Chance can also give you something like Space and Time, which is like something you'll see on like a Space Jam soundtrack, or like you know, either you know, one of them Marvel Universal soundtracks back in the day, you know, or like the Spider-Man verse type movie. You would see that Space and Time song in something like that. He said wrote to his church, the white church, the black church, and then the members of the church. I can't lie, when he is in that bag, he is elite of elite when it comes to his pen. I agree, man. I can't lie, bro. I can't lie, because again, it's the concept is always the first dope part. It's like, okay, how did you even think of that? Like, okay, I'm gonna write to the church, right? Then the execution be what be blowing me with these artists like this. It's like the execution. It's like, okay, you wrote it. I mean, you thought it, which I'll be thinking is crazy. Then you nailed it. You nailed this execution, like you nailed it, right? And then there's also the talent of actually being able to write it and stuff like that. It's all a really, really good fucking skill. It's a really, really good talent. And that's why I love hip hop. That's why I love hip hop, man. Songs like this, concepts like this, writing like this be why I love hip hop and I fell in love with hip hop. You know, it's all that other shit that be getting on my nerve. But yeah, man, this Chance album is good. I can't lie. There is, now I will say, there is some, like, that back half. I'm not a fan that much of that back half. I think he kind of loses I can't say he loses his concept, but he's losing his way a little bit. I think what I gather from this is that Chance might struggle with sequencing. Like, because that first half is very, very heavy. It's very dense, but it's all back to back. I feel like maybe either you needed to cut some of these because you got over an hour runtime on this album. Maybe cut some of these, condense some of this, or you might need to rearrange the order in the songs and stuff like that. But yeah, shout out to Starline, shout out to Chance, man. I think I ain't gonna lie, man. I know people love Jid. I love Jid. I fuck with that Jid album, but he don't never hit me like Chance can. He don't hit me like that, bro. I got this Chance album a little bit like better than that because some of the songs on there got so much depth. It's like, bruh, what can I say, man? Jid, you can rap, but you be doing a lot of that vomit that I be talking about. You be doing a lot of that word salad shit I be talking about. And Chance here, man, is giving me story. Chance is giving me like depth and density, man. I'm a sucker for it. Where you go? He said, "Oh, you didn't catch that Anita Baker Sweet Love, Philip?" Oh yeah, I did. And then he said, question mark. I really wish you was on here so you could tell us about that that conversation you had with Chance. I really do, but we'll save it for another time. Yeah, so again, this all alludes to my point, goes to my point about hip hop being in a good space to me. You know what I'm saying? The only thing, we got the beef and, we got this whole lawsuit thing, which Shane, go ahead and turn your TV off. Turn your TV off. It's lawsuit time. I've covered this so weirdly and so vaguely because it's really not my cup of tea. And even if it was, something in me is like, I don't even feel like kicking this man's back in. As much as it deserves kicked in, as much as he is the Netanyahu of hip hop, as much as he is the vampires, wait, what? We need to bully more niggas into divorces, period. That's what you gather from this album. Shane gathered from this album that we need to force more niggas into divorce. Man, blaming his second album flop on his wife is crazy. Hey, what, you want me to run with the conspiracy? Did he sacrifice the bitch? I would say he sacrificed her, but the nigga only sold 33,000 copies. If the nigga sold more than 33,000 copies, I would say he sacrificed the bitch. But you ain't gonna get me to say you sacrificed your wife for 33,000 copies. But maybe the good PR. The album got some good PR. But 33,000 ain't enough for me to say he sacrificed her. But yeah, forcing people into divorce, bullying niggas into divorce for albums is crazy. But you're on to something. We talked about on here, man, just niggas getting sober. Music's weird like that. Obviously, that's where that soul music, that whole concept of soul music comes from, and the blues and all that is like, people say that shit is like from the pit of their soul, and it's pain. You get Hunter and Holden always talking about Rod Wave. They like Hunter and Holden like Jelly Bean or Jelly. They like Jelly, a whole bunch of Jelly dumb shit, but they like, what's his name? Jelly Roll. They like Jelly Roll. These niggas like Jelly Roll. Okay. And then they also like Belly Gang, Cushington, but they always tell me that's that Pain. You know what I'm saying? And when they say that, it's like it don't register to me. So I'm an outsider. I understand. It's like I must be an outsider. That must be y'all shit. That must be y'all's culture. Because I don't hear Belly Gang, Cushington and hear Pain. You know, so Shane is right here. Maybe Chance just creates real well from Pain. You know what I'm saying? I said The Weeknd needs to go back to that Pain. Zach said Jelly Roll. The Weeknd needs to go back to the Pain. I talked about on here, man, people in the soberness in songs. Nigga had a blast at Carnival, laugh my ass off. But that song about that is said, I made a mistake, lost a home, not like a mortgage, but more like a foster home. He just opened up talking like that. He just opened up. I can't believe you still got me here. Yeah, you still got me here. 40 minutes in. You still got me here. But man, yeah, there is a correlation between artists getting sober, getting clean. You think of Eminem and like he lost his edge. It's like, boo, you fucking stink. Tomatoes. This nigga is boring. This nigga crazy. Eminem thought that we liked him for rhyming all them fucking words. We don't give a fuck about rhyming all those words. People liked you during the time because it was pain. They felt your pain. You know what I'm saying? So now you got Eminem still, I think something came out a few weeks ago where they said, can you rhyme? There's no word that rhymes with this. And then he started rhyming all these phrases that he does. It's like, no, they said word. One fucking word. Like when they said, no word rhymes with oranges. Here comes Eminem putting on his fucking nerd glasses and knocking on the door and coming in saying, yeah, of course it does. And then sitting us all down and saying, oranges, syringes, berenges. That's awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not. Like, boo, this guy fucking stinks. So we see there is a correlation. He says Starboy was a good album. Have never listened to Jelly Roll. Oh, you talking about The Weeknd. Zach likes The Weeknd. See, Zach, Starboy was his mainstream. That was his like catapult into mainstream. Like, actually, I can't lie. That's a lie. He was already a star, but Starboy was. It was like, Beauty Behind the Madness was really where Weeknd let us know he was here. That's when Weeknd let us know, like, hey, I'm here to stay. I know y'all remember me from Wicked Games and or Nah and all this shit. But when that motherfucker dropped Beauty Behind the Madness with Earned It and The Hills, and man, I don't give a fuck what the critics say. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. Beauty Behind the Madness is good. Beauty Behind the Madness is good, man. The Weeknd was talking his shit all on that bitch, and the beats is slapping. The ambiance around that album is slapping. In fact, it's coming up on the 10-year anniversary. Matter of fact, Beauty Behind the Madness is coming up on its 10-year anniversary. I think either this month, I believe this month. And it feels like fall. I know it's still summer, but that album, it feels like fall, man. And We Get Acquainted. Man, what else is on there? Man? He had smacks all through that album. So, like, that's Pain. That was Weeknd of Bell Pain, but that was his last show to me of pain, of real pain. After Hours is good, but it ain't Pain. I got Beauty Behind the Madness here, bro. Real Life, Tell Your Friends Often. The Hills, Acquainted. Can't Feel My Face. Can't Feel My Face, man. Like, when you think of some of the biggest radio like songs, like big pop songs like that of this, the 2010s, Can't Feel My Face is coming in high. And if you listen to the content and the lyrics on that, that's a good pop song. It's better than Blinding Lights and all his other big songs like that. Man, Can't Feel My Face is good. And then you got Earned It. That was on 50 Shades of Grey. As You Are, man. Dark Times, man. This album is good. It's good. So we need a Bell Pain. We need Weeknd Pain. We need that trilogy, man. Obviously, he was in a whole, to me, trilogy, that era, man, you had a Bell on drugs, bro. Like Ecstasy, I mean, that was he was not even on this planet. He was on Planet X when he made Trilogy and all those albums. When he made those albums, he wasn't even with us. You know, then Beauty Behind the Madness was him trying to heal, him trying to sober up a little bit, but still showing scars of being a bad guy. Then you got Starboard. That's full-blown industry to me. And then you got After Hours and so forth and so forth. Shout out to The Weeknd, man. I did not expect to have a little quick Weeknd segment, but shout out to him, man. Shout out to The Weeknd, man. Zach said, nothing's lost that The Weeknd did for Avatar 2 was pretty damn good song. I've listened to it. I gotta tap you in. There's so much better Weeknd than the songs you're naming. So much better Weeknd, man. I'm talking about the writing, all of that. But I was talking quickly about this lawsuit. What I was saying earlier before I got down this rabbit hole was that I typically don't entertain it because it's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing. He said, I need to listen to more of The Weeknd. Same with Post Malone too. Boo. Post Malone's whack to me. He's not whack. That's extreme. Post Malone ain't whack. But anyways, I was saying, like, I don't even feel like kicking the kids back in, right? I don't even feel like kicking the kids back in. It's like I'm just sitting around watching Drake kamikaze himself. Like I'm watching. It's like he's literally it's the definition. It's what Kendrick talked about in Euphoria. Like you're spiraling out. The famous actor we once knew is looking famous. No, he's just spiraling out. Literally spiraling out. And when people crash out like that, it's like he's like in a drunk rage right now, to where it's like he's swinging, but he's like hitting people on his side. He's hitting it. He's hurting himself. That's all he's doing. It's like he's the dude that just keeps running into the wall, running his head into the wall, running his head into the wall. It's like everything you're trying to inflict on somebody else and make them feel your pain and stuff like that keeps bouncing back on you. It's like a Joker card was played, like an Ace of Spades was played on you, or reverse Uno was played on you, and everything you try to do to Kendrick in that side is like it's punching you back. Here you got today, you know, y'all go on this whole little media campaign of the Death Row change, still trolling, collecting black artifacts, which I've talked about on here. That's just weird, Drake. It's like you're so annoying. You're such the vampire on Sinners, bro. Like you're so annoying, bro. Like you're so upset that you got your ass kicked last year that you've decided that you are going to boycott black culture. You're going to redistribute the pain. This nigga thinks he's Martin Luther King. Who does he think he is, y'all? And y'all sit around and y'all don't see this. Y'all don't see it. I see it. And I got to tell y'all what he's doing. He thinks he's boycotting. I told y'all, him being across in Europe and then sitting with all the streamers and now he's sitting with Aiden Ross. Now he's sitting with Balby off, and he's just avoiding hip hop. What did y'all think he was doing, bro? He told y'all for years that he would do this. This is him throwing his temper tantrum. He's done. We kicked him out. He's like, all right, kick me out. Y'all got me kicked out. Let's see. This is him throwing his fake temper tantrum. Let him have it. Let him have it. Let him have it, bro. So that's what I'm saying with this lawsuit. I just be like, you know, I'm over it, bro. I'm over it. You got your ass whooped, bro. Like, move on. Move on. But if you're him, I feel him. Because it's like, no, y'all pulled my cover off. I'm a PDF file. I'm this and I'm now. I'm a culture vulture. Y'all singing that. Okay, cool. Let's go our separate ways. But the thing with Drake, here's where he shows his ugly hand, guys. He won't do it. Go ahead and commit, dude. Commit. Drake, why don't you just go full pop? Why don't you go full pop? Why don't you go full pop? You be yearning and craving the culture's attention and cachet so much and approval so much, bro. You have been since your beginning. We forget his beginnings, bro. The hip hop core did not accept Drake. This has been an ongoing 15-year beef between Hip Hop's Council, the Supreme Court of Hip Hop. That's what you got going on here. The Supreme Court of Hip Hop versus Drake and Canada or Toronto. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have going on here. And that is just bubbled to this point, right? Kendrick was the last hitman to go assassinate the cat. And so you got Drake here wanting hip-hop's approval. He's always wanted it. He's always wanted it, right? And so he's pretending to boycott hip hop, but still doing a little sneaky shit, still trying to be a part of the culture, still using our lingo, still doing. I say, Drake, go ahead and commit, dog. Go ahead and commit. Lose the braids, lose the braid wig, lose the abs, do the Post Malone thing. Do the Post Malone thing. Get on some cowboy boots. Try your hand at country, okay? Or if you don't like that, just go try your hand in some folk. Try your hand in some folk. Do something else, dude. Why don't you just go ahead and full-blown commit? You already hanging out with all the white streamers. You already doing all that, like this European shit. We see what you're doing, bro. And if y'all don't see it, like I said, I'll see it for y'all. It's played out. So that's what the lawsuit is. Again, he said, is Drake still running? He's still suing. He's suing people in hip hop. He's mad that hip hop casted him out. So he hit his red button was calling the ADL. That's what I told y'all he was going to do. I told y'all from the top. I'm like, I already knew the ADL was going to get involved. Somehow I knew the ADL and them boys and people in suits was going to get involved because Drake is the Karen of hip hop. Okay. When he don't get his way, what happened with the Pusha T and him beef, right? He had it. Jay Prince got involved. All these people got involved. All these other people got involved, bro. Anytime Drake is about to get his boot smoked, he got to have people step in. People surrounding him. All these people sucking his blood and making money off of him. He's a Jay Prince investment. That's his quote, not my quote. He said he's a Jay Prince investment. So, there's people out here with money in Drake's interest. And now you could say that's partially what this lawsuit is about, right? He's going after the big conglomerate UMG, Lucian Grange and stuff like that. And instead of him, now listen, I don't believe he has a gag order. I can't tell if he has a gag order because the little shit he keeps doing. He just keeps doing little shit here and there. But he could just clarify what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem with going to go sit with Aiden Ross, going to go sit with Bobby Offloff. It's like, and even if he goes to sit with Rory and Maul or something like that. But the problem is like, dog, why don't you go sit with somebody that will really, ask you the proper questions? And why don't you clear some of this up? Is this not an attack on hip hop? Did you not sign a petition years ago when Thug was facing that RICO with QC and all these all these other members and stuff like that? Did you not help sign a petition stating that lyrics should not be used in the court of law and that was attack on hip hop? Are you the same guy? Am I tripping? Am I wrong in this? You know what I'm saying? And please, like the Drake fake, the Drake hate pages and stuff like that. When I post this little clip and stuff like that, y'all gonna come after me and all this stuff like that. Yo, whatever. Cool. But y'all think that this man is like, committing kamikaze or like sacrificing himself to really, go at UMG. He don't have y'all in mind. He don't have the betterment of you dumb, ignorant, foolish, idiotic fans that are defending him in mind. You know what I'm saying? This is a clear attack on our culture. Okay, it's a clear attack on our culture. That's what this is. All right, not just the lawsuit, but mainly the lawsuit, but all his moves outside of the lawsuit. And instead of him going and sitting down with somebody respectable. I'm blanking on the word. Just to sit down with somebody reputable to clarify it. No, he's going to continue to troll. He's going to go to sit with Bobby and he's going to do his Instagram post. He's going to be annoying. He's going to buy a fake death row chain thinking that it's real death row chain, thinking that, again, collecting black artifacts, just trying to troll, he's trying to like make Kendrick and the West mad, like and using Pac. Shane told me, we had a conversation about this whole collage with Pac and Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson. Who goes, right? I should have put that up. I really should have put that up. I might put that up. And we had a little exchange about Pac, and here's my thing. Pac was all drugged through. Pac was the crux of the Kendrick and Drake beef has been centered around Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Again, like more feathers in Tupac's cap. You know what I'm saying? Like the man that never dies from his grave. He just won't die. His leg, he refuses to die. He's embedded in this culture. He's embedded in it. You know what I'm saying? So Drake trying to collect those Tupac artifacts is him trying to troll the West and just trying to cause more emotion and really piss people off and say, look what I got, dangle shit. You know what I'm saying? So all of the moves that he has made post-beef, even pre-beef, but really post-beef with the whole world watching with the spotlight on him, it tells y'all what he's doing. It tells you exactly what he's doing. So he said someone had to go on that list. He just don't belong with them three. He even looks funny pictured with them. Man, give me a second. You got me fucked up, man. I'm gonna throw this spot here. Let me share this. You got me all messed up. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Oh, no. I just want the post. I don't want y'all looking at my shit. Anyways, y'all see it. Kinda. It says, who goes? You got Pac, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jackson. I really want to be able to see it. Stop sharing. Zach said Tupac will be gone 30 years next year, for sure. Which is crazy. But who do y'all think goes? Tupac, MJ, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jackson. Zach said he would take Ali off. See, look, Zach knows. Now, Shane said in a landslide Tupac, which I understand his thinking behind that, but I just disagree because they all shook the world. Let's just be clear about this. These four men are all the most influential of their respective field. We know that. Mike being the most influential musician, so I know that's going to be Shane's point, but this isn't a Mike and Tupac thing. Tupac is the most influential on strictly black culture hip hop. Strictly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mike umbrellas the whole thing. It's like, okay, I'm over the whole thing. Tupac is like, but I'm the root. Like, I am the core of this one thing. I am the core of this. And then you got Muhammad Ali, not only in the boxing world, but just as a cultural giant and what he really did for the space. And he said, honestly, keep Jordan and Jackson, but ditch the rest. But then you got Michael Jordan. I ain't gonna lie. I can't say that Pac is more famous than any of these. These four are very, very globally famous, man. Michael Jordan is Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and then Pac. I think Pac is the least famous out of all of those. But I think when you talk about somebody that embedded himself into something, man, he's so embedded in this culture. He's so embedded in this culture. So they shouldn't have put two people from the same industry. They put them two purposely to be the argument. No one would take off Ali or Mike. The argument is Pac and Mike Jack. Shane, why are you so wrong? Like, how are you so off on this? People will take off Michael Jordan. People will take off a lot of people might take off Muhammad Ali. You know, and there's people out there that would take off Mike. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we're talking about impact alone, then we can have some basis on who goes, you know, on impact alone. But when you brought in the whole thing saying who goes, bro, you're forgetting. A lot of people don't fuck with Mike. A lot of people don't fuck with Mike. A lot of people don't fuck with Jordan. You know, all LeBron fans, as a matter of fact, I'm about to share this. I need to just find LeBron fans. I didn't even think of that. All LeBron fans would say take Mike off immediately. Bron fans want Mike off on any list. Bron fans want Mike off on any list, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're so unobjective. They're so fucking delusional. They think Michael Jordan don't even belong in the same discussion. And then obviously you got people out there that don't like Muhammad Ali. and plenty of people out there that don't like Tupac. He said people must not know who Muhammad Ali is. Muhammad Ali is the oldest on this list too, right? Muhammad Ali, his time of ruling, his time of running was earlier on than everybody else on this list. Jackson was the 80s. Muhammad Ali was the 50s and 60s. You know what I'm saying? We're coming up on 80 years, since Muhammad Ali was really around shaking grounds. Now, to me, do I think is his impact still felt? Is what he stood for still felt? Yes. In fact, you can make a case that this whole anti-war movement that we're going to get into next, a lot of that is based on Ali's back. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people may not attribute that to Ali. A lot of people like our generation and stuff like that, they don't know that about Ali. They do, but not for real. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand his lineage. They don't understand kind of his influence, his impact, and what it has caused and where it has led. So me talking, again, Muhammad Ali's impact to me, you could make a case was bigger in the grand scheme of everything than all of theirs. Michael Jackson, I think, shook things maybe more, especially, in the entertainment industry. Like, it's just hard, bro. It's hard because, like, this question essentially alone is asking, like, if this story of life is written and you had to admit one thing, like, what one of these figures could be omitted without us skipping a beat? That's what essentially this question is asking. And my answer ultimately is that all four of these figures, to me, if you skip their story out of this timeline of existence that we live in, it changes the whole fabric of the timeline. That's how important I think these figures are. Shane said, yeah, people got Ali fucked up. And I know I'm not talking to you, but I can make the case Ali is the most influential than anyone here. I agree. People got Ali fucked up. In fact, like, he was the most famous out of all of them first, right? He's the one. Michael Jackson's looking up to Ali. You know what I'm saying? Like, Muhammad Ali's figure of reverence and stuff like that is influential to the person that we're saying is the most influential. You see what I'm saying? Like, without Muhammad Ali coming through, there's maybe no Mike. There's maybe no Jordan. Jordan looked up to Ali, and that's just in there. That's in his sport of play, man. Then you talk about shit that he was actually doing, like the civil rights movements and shit like that. Just in our, like, real life shit going on, you got to give me Ali. Ali was really moving shit. Ali was really changing shit. As a figurehead. To me, Pac. Okay, now let me get into Pac next. Pac is a weird case to me because it's like he's like a leprechaun. Like, again, he attached himself to hip hop culture and black culture so fucking much. Like, to me, he went the furthest deep into the heart of his field. Okay, you got Michael Jackson in music. I don't know. Michael Jackson committed a lot to music. I can't lie. Michael Jackson committed a lot to music. But you know what? I almost think Michael Jackson committed more to fame. Like, his story to me really is centered on fame and the precautions of fame and stuff like that. Muhammad Ali's story is like resistance. Michael Jordan's story to me is more like, y'all don't even want to know. Michael Jordan's story to me is, because the thing with Jordan is he gets a bad rap. People act like he didn't impact and influence and encourage the whole hood too. Like, Jordan, like, I Believe I Can Fly, all that flying and we seen God when we seen Jordan, bro. Like, people do got Jordan kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He influenced a lot. He impacted a lot positively. A lot of people kind of look at this evil version of Jordan because he does have a side of him that is dark. But he did do a lot good for our communities. He did. And this whole, like, please, let's end the narrative here. Let's end the fake stories about the prison ducks the prison industrial complex with Michael Jordan. That was not the Michael Jordan. That was not our Michael Jordan. That's so goddamn delusional, guys. It's so delusional. And then again with Pac, to me, it's like Shane, because Shane likes Jay-Z and like these other artists. Lane said easily Pac. Wow. I don't think so. To me, y'all want to know why? Y'all want to know why? I think that hip hop to our culture is more impactful and more important than sport and play. Now, you can make the case. This is a conversation we might have to have another day. This is a really good conversation to have. What is more influential on Black culture, sport and play or hip hop music? But just remember, one rapper is worth 1,000 preachers. Just remember music, the power of music, the power of words, and what hip hop stems from, man. Like, hip hop can for real change the globe. Now, sport has changed the globe. Sport has brought in white and black together. Sports has brought in different cultures together. It brings a lot of people together. He said Jackson's whole life story is well known. Jackson's music has such a huge impact. He's got a great catalog of music, great artist, but a wacky personal life for sure. But to me, hip hop, man, hip hop hit the streets like crack in the egg. Like when hip hop hit the streets, it changed. The way that hip hop has the ability to change, man, I don't think y'all really understand, man. You got the Jim Crow, you got the civil rights movement, you got you got the wars, you got all those things. But what I'm trying to say is you guys got to remember that after, man, the like hip hop is the other iteration of Ali. You see what I'm saying? Like Ali's movement, Ali's idea, the civil rights movement, all that stuff like that kind of gave birth to hip hop. And hip hop, excuse me. I'm going to be real. Rajon Rondo doesn't get the props he deserves. Shane says it depends on what the metric is. Most black kids have their early thought that a ball at some point can change their family for generation. Hip hop allows us to express those plights for those kids, for sure. But again, that's what I'm saying. The conversation, Shane, that has to be had is a lot of young people a lot of us grow up thinking that we can be some sort of rapper. You know, like both influences are very strong. A lot of us have grown up thinking that we should sing, or that like the importance of music itself. You know, is it stronger than sport and play? And I personally believe music is extremely stronger than sport and play. I think there's money, and then I think there's music. I think there's money, I think there's sex, and then I think there's music. Those are the three most powerful things to me. And by music, I also just mean sound, right? Because I think we kind of undercut this whole idea that music is like a frequency, it's like a sound, and you know, you can use that in war, not just music, but sound. You know what I'm saying? Sound is very important in warfare. So, like, the channeling that music does is very, 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 very powerful. So my whole point with Pac is that for hip hop, man, like you had the civil rights era, and then these movements keep getting destroyed. And then here comes the 5%ers. Here comes, Jesse Jackson. Here comes the NAACP. Like it was like the Black Panthers get killed off, and then like there's this rebirth after that, and people don't understand that hip hop was that different iteration, that next iteration, and you haven't really seen any of those movements bubble up again because hip hop has really kind of replaced that for our people. It's the crying card for our people. It is the calling card, like Shane said. we use hip hop now to express those plights. We used to have to go to the corner. We used to have to go to the block. We used to have to go to the mayor. We used to march. That's how we used to express our plight. Now we do it through word, song, and dance. So again, hip hop is very, very powerful. And in saying that, I think Tupac wielded the most power in that space with exactly what we're saying, expressing those plights, using hip hop as a platform. And I just think that when you know what hip hop represents, if hip hop is the civil rights movement, but maybe a different iteration of it, we're giving Ali credence and credit for the civil rights movement. I got to give Tupac credit for like where hip hop went. You know what I'm saying? Now you had your pioneers, and always shout out to the pioneers. Like I said earlier, hip hop came up on his 53rd birthday. Shout out to hip hop. Very, very important, man. And you had your KRS-Ones and Big Daddy Kane's and DJ Kool Herc and Rakim and all these. You had your forefathers, and I always got to give my respects and tip my hats to them, especially like somebody like the Conscious Wave with KRS-One and then NWA comes in and changes the scene. And so I understand that it's not just Pac, but Pac took what they was doing and blew that bitch up so fucking much and did it so differently. He put it so much in the world's face that it cannot be escapable. We obviously know this. I'm not saying anything y'all don't know, but hip hop being the number one space on the planet, like the number one genre, the most influential thing. Hip hop is the most influential thing on the globe right now, right? And maybe not right now, but kind of. We seen last year, in fact, I kept coming on here highlighting to you guys that Kendrick and Drake beef stole the show of 2024. It stole the show. I mean, we were literally dealing with two wars. Like there was wars, there was the presidential election, and the Kendrick and Drake thing really stole the show. It really, really did. He said all four of them will roll in their grave when they say where the world took their industries, for sure. He said, see, what am I saying wrong? What am I saying wrong? You got to hurry up. What am I saying wrong? But my point is that that Pac embedded himself and became the voice piece for hip hop. Not only he only had a 4-year run, not only during that run, but like still to this day, you know what I'm saying? And one day we're going to have to really have a discussion on like he said, LOL, no, I said say, I meant see. Okay, got you. Anyways, with Pac, it's really, really alarming because I'm about to go down this rabbit hole. When we're talking about the importance of these people in their respective field, we know a lot of what we attribute to Ali is kind of the revolutionary stuff, the civil rights activist stuff inside of him, right? Same with Pac. I mean, not with Pac, with Mike. Now with Mike, he was a global phenomenon. I think that there's only Mike is the most famous human being we've seen in centuries. You know what I'm saying? Like literal centuries. In the new world, Michael Jackson is probably the most famous person we've seen with our own eyes. I think his name is right underneath Jesus and Prophet Muhammad as world recognized names, right? So I understand Mike. And, there was a side of Mike where it was like he was fighting for us. He was doing activism. He was really, really big into humanitarian aid and donation reliefs and all types of stuff. Mike was really, really, really like that. People also got Mike fucked up. Y'all got Mike fucked up. But when I talk about direct correlation from like being the voice for our people, Mike wasn't the voice for our people. You see what I'm saying? Mike was the talent. It was like he was sent to us as a display. Muhammad Ali was the voice. I ain't gonna lie. Muhammad Ali was the voice. Muhammad Ali was the voice. But Muhammad Ali doesn't speak from the grave as much as Pac does. Like Muhammad Ali didn't speak as much prophecy as Pac did. So that's where it's really, really interesting with Pac, where it's like the man still haunts us from his grave. Like Pac got bigger in his death. The Pac lore stuck around it. And it's like, my whole point was that he's like the leopard. Like, he's like, he's like the host, or he's like the parasite. Like, he has embedded himself in the belly of hip hop, like as a parasite. You just can't get rid of him out of the industry. You can't. There's only one Pac. I understand that there's only one Ali, one Mike. Many have tried and stuff like that. But I don't even know if someone has even tried to, like, again, for Mike, you had Kobe, you had LeBron. For Muhammad Ali, I wouldn't, he's one-on-one to me too. Same with Mike, but Mike has had his impersonators too. Pac, no one's really even been able to try to really fill those shoes. You know what I'm saying? He said Pac is credited with a lot of quotes he didn't say. But that shit, that'd be discrediting Pac. That's not giving him credit. That's diction. That's why I be knowing they're fake. Every time y'all share shit with Pac's face on it, and then the quote underneath it, I'm like, Pac did not say that, because it's so fucking surface level. Pac didn't say that. I mean, that ain't the only reason why I say it. I say that because I've watched damn near all Pac's interviews and shit like that, read transcripts and like that. He didn't say that. But my point is that no one in hip hop has really even filled Pac's shoes or even dared to. You know what I'm saying? And they can't. Like, they can't fill his space. You can't fill Pac's space. You cannot. So I don't know. I'll leave that to y'all, man. I'll leave that to y'all. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to hip hop. But yeah, I don't know who goes. I can't lie. I don't know who goes. Y'all leave in the chat who y'all think goes. There's a collage of Pac, Mike Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jackson. Y'all drop and y'all tell me who y'all think goes. Switching gears. Just kind of like, speaking about Zach, I know you're about to be excited now. Now y'all, it's time to talk politics. Let's get into this shit. Let's really get into this shit. Speaking of like civil rights movement and Muhammad Ali and people rolling over in their grave, Mike is rolling over in his grave. Epstein is rolling over in his grave. Motherfucking Muhammad Ali is rolling over his grave. This shit. I mean, where do I begin? Like Shane says, you don't get Floyd Mayweather without Ali, for sure. But Floyd's impact to me is so minuscule to these guys. Like Floyd to me is, again, he's like the LeBron. It's like, I see your numbers, I see the record and stuff like that, but I don't see your impact, really. And I know Floyd had impact and stuff, but like not on these guys' levels. But anyways, I don't even know where to begin, man. I'm so I'll have y'all help me out, man. I'll have y'all help me out. Zach, here's the thing. I'll throw it to you, because I'll ask you, what's the topic you want to discuss, right? And you'll probably tell me what's going on in the news, right as of now, or as of today. And if you guys were able to draw any parallel on the thing that I probably say the most on this channel since I've started, is how we continue to walk down this hallway of just pure insanity and madness and delirium, that we are not realizing what stories we just wash away, what stories that are actually in the news right now, as we read them, how serious and severe they are. We just, like, we're so desensitized to the news. We're so desensitized to the news, right? So my point in saying that is that Zach will probably come on here and tell me, let's talk about Trump deploying the 19, the military, the guards, and to the 19 cities and different things like that. And it's like, yeah, that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. But my issue is, man, it's like we're letting them get away with it again, right before our face. We're letting them get away with it again. We should not move to one topic. So news anchors out there, independent media members, podcasters, or stuff like that. Guess what, guys? I shouldn't have even spent an hour and 20 minutes talking about anything that I talked about early on here. Zach says our whole country went down the escalator with Trump in 2015, and it's been wild ever since. It's been many roller coaster rides since 2015. That's legit, and that's a good observation. That is a good observation. I was told Trump was going to take us to hell on a rocket ship, and Zach, I guess, said the same thing because he called it an escalator, and the escalator went down. So we've been in this descent of madness since 2015. I totally agree. We very much well might have woke up in purgatory. Oh shit, my thing fell. We very much well could be in hell right now. And I say all that to say is like no topic should be covered. We should not be moving on in the news cycle until we find out. I mean, I don't know. We might want to just find out who the pedophiles are. You know what I'm saying? Is that just me? Or could I have not sworn that was a key factor in draining the swamp and unlocking the deep state? Or was it something else? Was it the military industrial complex? Was it the prison industrial complex? Was it the money laundering? Was it the... I'll save that. I'll save those people. Zach says, with Biden, we were just asleep for 4 years. That's what I said. I said it was boring, man. I'm like, fuck, this is boring. Niggas start going to therapy. Families start going to therapy. It was boring. Now we're back with that roller coaster shit. But anyways, to me, this is just me. I don't know. If there's something out there that may implicate that high-ranking members of our government officials are a part of a sex trafficking ring involving children, women and children, I think we should probably get to the bottom of that before we make any other news story a headline. So, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, that's what Shamar calls him. I see your tactics. Let's just be real here, guys. I had a few, I'm feeling good. Let's just say that. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to just tell the truth. Trump, I see your tactics, okay? More so than seeing your tactics, Mr. Trump. I also remember seeing who came to the White House and visited you before you started pulling these tactics so blatantly, okay? So let's keep that in mind. There was somebody that visited the White House a month ago, and things just kind of shifted and changed there. Zach says, Maxwell has already cleared Trump. Now what she has to say about Bill and Hillary Clinton should be interesting. This is what I'm saying, Zach. You're falling for, I hope you're just giving me the news, the cliff notes of the news, and I hope you're not falling for the stories, okay? The thing is, everybody already predicted that Miss Maxwell was going to clear Trump and that she's working on trying to get a pardon. That's what I'm saying, guys. They're doing these things, these telegraph things that people are just saying in plain sight now. Regular people are just saying, hey, here's what they're doing. And then they distract a few of y'all and then do those things and then do something else. And then we move on to the next story and forget that these people are pulling wools over our eyes like that right during the time. You know what I'm saying? This story, guess what? We should not worry about the fine details. We should not worry about the thin print. We shouldn't even have to do all this. We shouldn't even have to do all this investigating on our own. That's my point here. Okay. If there is a memo out there that implicates high-ranking officials of our governmental body, of the U.S. Republic or U.S. Constitution, they should be working towards that. We shouldn't have to be the ones safeguarding this information and making sure that it's audited correctly. Why do we continue to have to do the work? Okay. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we're letting them get away with not doing their jobs. That's one. They're not even doing their jobs, but they're not doing their jobs in front of us. And because in order for them to do their jobs, it implicates them. We should not be moving on. Trump shouldn't even be able to say anything. Where's the gag order on this man? He was on the list. He was listed on the list, okay? He's acting like a madman now. He's acting like a madman. Trump, you're not fooling nobody, dog. You can send the deployments to the 19 cities. You can run a bulldozer to the Smithsonian and run over the transatlantic slave trade, the motherfucking ships and all this shit, dude, that you're trying to do, man. You're not getting out of this one. Y'all are not getting out of this one. You are not. And the funny thing is, y'all see the bottom of my screen. Let me read your comment, Zach. He said, why do you think Trump is talking about redistricting in Texas and other states? He wants us to focus on other things than the Epstein thing. For sure. Netanyahu, let's just cut the shit, man. I'm done speaking in code for these people, bro, because they're completing their mission, and I'm just sitting back and I want to punch people in the fucking face. Y'all were told on this channel 2 years ago that this was all about greater Israel. Okay? I told y'all. I came on here and told y'all years ago at this point. And we're watching it in real time. There's no need to look further. There's no need to read deeper. This is all connected. Okay? Netanyahu the Epstein thing is popping off. Okay? Trump is trying to stick his nose up in the Israel-Hamas-Iran war. Netanyahu was sending shit back. Y'all forget the time a few months ago, Netanyahu and Trump weren't seeing eye to eye. Okay? They was not seeing eye to eye because Trump was speaking out against that war and shit like that. This was months ago, right? Then we get Midnight Hammer. We get that whole thing, right? Then there was still some shit going on between Trump and Epstein, right? The Epstein thing was getting so loud and it started implicating Israel so much that Netanyahu had to come over here to do diplomacy meetings and meet with our members of our cabinet and our government. But he also sat down with the Nelk boys to clean up Israel's image. He has now said that there is a artificial AI bot algorithm that is, spewing all this anti-Israelic speech. Like, we're watching them do the lie while they kill and mass murder people right in front of our faces. And I don't want it lost on us that he came to the White House to sit with Trump, and then that moment forward, everything fucking changed. Trump starts speaking like he had 2 tongues. He starts speaking like niggas had 3 heads. He don't. Now it's a Democratic hoax and all this and all that, right? That happened. Meanwhile, a couple of days later, our whole Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, all of these people, all these members of Congress and stuff fly over to Israel, kiss the Wailing Wall, kneel down, suck Netanyahu's dick. All this shit is going on, bro. They bowing and kissing the ring, bowing and praying to their God Moloch. Please sacrifice more kids for us, Moloch. Please make it rain. Kill more Palestinians. Do it. That's what we watch. Our politicians, our Congress members go over and do. Understand that this Epstein thing and this greater Israel thing is so closely connected. Okay? So closely connected. So shouldn't be lost on us that they're trying to diminish the Epstein story. At the same time, Israel is ramping up their war on Gaza. Okay? Netanyahu said, hey, Trump, I'm going to make you, and it's classic chess. You worry about domestic things, Mr. Sir. You worry about domestic things. You worry about this pedophile thing going on in your country, and you let me deal with the foreign affairs. Okay. And since that moment, Trump hasn't even spoken Netanyahu's way. Even as far as today, he's looking the other way, talking about the war should be over in 2 weeks. We hope they finish it off, and we hope they get it done, and Israel can do whatever. And here's a blank check. And where did all the energy go? Where did all the big boss energy go? Where did I come in and solve wars? Where did Mr. Don Dick on the table go? Where did that go? Am I confused? Am I lost? Am I seriously lost on something? It's just ridiculous. And y'all are so fucking lucky that I got sick, and I know who got me sick. I don't want the ADL calling me, or else I would say it. I'm joking about that, y'all. I'm joking about that. But the point of the matter here is that you got a whole bunch of domestic affairs going on in the United States of the government. And the Democrats, please stop running on this. Y'all shut the fuck up too. Stop this tennis ball of the American people back and forth that y'all do every 4 years. We don't care. We don't care. We thought y'all fucking sucked the last 4 years, so we voted for the pedophilic, crazy madman. Okay? Understand that this isn't no credit to y'all. This makes y'all look bad. That the American people, the last 4 years was so fucking horrible and embarrassing that we voted for the person that's fucking children. Okay? Understand this. I'm so sick of this. Zach, please don't fall into this Democratic Republican shit no more, okay? Please. For the life of me. He said, we just need to stop engaging with criminals abroad. We need to focus on America and just stay out of Israel and the BB shit. Well, that's what they want us to do now. That's what they want us to do now. As I have to sit here as I'm reading articles. Let me see if I can pull it up, man. As I'm reading articles, man, this shit is so fucking sick, man. And y'all think that I'm joking. I'm not joking. This shit is fucking sick. I know we hear about it and we think about it and then we go back to sleep and we don't realize how sick it is and shit like that. Let me really show you how sick this shit is, man. It's so fucking sick that I wouldn't be shocked if my shit gets censored, man. Where is it at? Let's take a look, man. Look at these journalists getting killed, man. This shit is going on in real life. We know we covered the Sharif journalist that died a few weeks ago with his memento and his final words, man. But more journalists are killed by a double strike in Gaza a couple days ago, man. Another accidental double strike, man. When you got high-ranking IDF members coming out and said that they got commanded to do that and that it was approved to do these strikes, man. Okay? And we talking about not only journalists and shit like that, man. Where's my picture of the babies and the kids, man? This shit is not funny, man. It's really not funny, man. It's really not funny that we're sitting here watching them ethnically cleanse a people on our tax dollar, and we're just watching it happen. Now, I'm not saying that we all have the power to do anything about it, but the least we can do, y'all, is focus. At least the fuck we can do is focus and really get this right. It's really, really important to the future. I hope y'all understand. It's really, really important to the future. If you do believe in a God and a higher power, and even if not, if you just believe in history and how history writes itself and humankind and the betterment of humankind, really important that you pay the fuck attention right now. Okay? Satan has been revealed. He's been unmasked for years now. Okay? He's been unmasked, man. We seeing him. Man, he said, when did Zach jump to Trump shit? Hold on. We voted for a guy who said, is it wrong that I'm attracted to my own 13-year-old daughter? Like what? Trump just as insane as the Democrats. He said, when did you jump shit? The thing is, Zach used to hate Trump, right? When I first known Zach absolutely hated Trump. Then he's Team America Party. Shane, I don't bow to any party. Yeah, Zach has been riding with the Republicans the last few years, but before that he was go blue, whatever the saying is, blue and true or whatever the lame saying is. So I've seen Zach be both so far in my life. However, he says here he's Team America Party. And that's what the American people should understand, and that's what the American people should be right now. However, again, I just want y'all to understand the severity of this, man. Like, this is not no game, man. Again, I can't say that I was not 7, 8 years old reading about the natives. Man, we all remember reading those stories and asking the teacher questions and maybe like morality questions like, oh, so we killed off a whole bunch of natives, and then we had to be convinced that that was all right. But we all remember how we felt reading those stories. And we all know that that's like a black scar, a black eye on American history. Like, we all understand that the Holocaust and the transatlantic slave trade is like black eyes in American history and different things like that, right? We all understand that. So again, it's really important to pay attention. Pay the fuck attention right now to see that this is no joke. This is no game. We're right in the midst of ethnically cleansing people, man. And it's not funny. It's really not funny. And the fact that we're sitting here being implicated by our own government in doing such and using our tax dollars to do it is even less funny. It really, really is, man. I'm not feeling the whole thing, man. Like I said, you got the Epstein story going on, which I'll get into a little bit more in depth strictly on that. But you also got, the timing of it all. The timing of it all with Netanyahu visiting our states, and then all of a sudden everybody losing the cojones. No one having the cojones no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like where was all this talk and where was all this shit? Like I don't quite understand. Let me see. Let me stop sharing. Can y'all see me anymore? Anyways, I don't want everybody to be distracted. And I know we hear that all the time. Oh, this is just another distraction. Trump in the cities is another distraction. The tariffs is another distraction. Oh, now he's trying to denuclearize Russia. Zelensky and the distraction. I understand that we hear all that. But I want y'all to understand that the Epstein thing is the key to a lot of this shit, right? If we are now all under the realization, or majority of Americans are under the realization now that there's been a hostile takeover. Y'all see what my bottom says here? There's been a hostile takeover. Don't forget, Netanyahu has the American politicians held at gunpoint. And he don't got a gun. He don't got a gun. His gun is pedophilic records. His gun is blackmail. Zach says, we're never getting the Epstein list, and this Israeli war needs to end. Almost 2 years now. Zach, but what I want you to understand is the American people needs to put pressure on our government to give us the Epstein list, because in order to stop the Israeli war, you have to unlock the Epstein thing. This key don't fit without that. You know what I'm saying? The door for the key is the Epstein list, right? And I mean, now this can go another way. The country that blackmailed you and used Epstein to blackmail you to get what its end goals was, which we're seeing now with Greater Israel, we could just turn the other cheek like we're doing and let them get their way, right? And let them turn the Middle East into the Riviera and put Trump hotels on there and ethnically cleanse Gaza and the Gazans and the Palestinians, okay, and take over Syria and do the rest of what they're trying to do. And then build a third temple, okay, and then start a holy war, and then there will be another war on our hands, right? So if y'all want to really prevent, if y'all want to halt Christ, if y'all want to really prevent a holy war, a big war, the Armageddon war, the global war, we have to stop Israel from blackmailing our politicians with pedophilia. Like I said about a year ago, unfortunately, we're in a hostage situation. What's really funny is there's multiple hostage situations going on. Die Hard type hostage where they got the hostage and they're holding them at gunpoint and the SWAT team can't come in or else they'll blow the hostage's brain out. Not only is that literally going on in Gaza with Hamas and the 50 hostages that are left, well, Israel's doing that as well. Not only do you have the world literally being held at hostage, but metaphorically, you have the world being held hostage, right? This Epstein list is holding the world hostage. In order for the world to be free and unlocked, the Epstein thing has to be unlocked. That's the unfortunate part of this. At some point, Bibi is going to get himself killed by Iran or another country. We'll see. I think what you're seeing, Zach, is that the Epstein piece being moved on the chessboard has ployed everybody into showing their hands, right? So now, for instance, that Iran situation, that's not over. Iran and Israel is not over at all, right? But Iran right now is being surrounded by armies because this Epstein thing has implicated other nations like people that are in the UAE, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, these rich rich, beautiful Middle Eastern nations that I've told you guys about before, that got all these monies and hotels and resorts and all these tourisms and stuff like that, they've been bought and sold. Okay, they've sold out to this Islamic Middle East, right? And so you got one half of the world trying to free the Middle East from Islamic control, and you got that side of the world trying to maintain Islamic control. That's essentially what you have going on in the world, right? And then all these other little small proxy wars are a product of that big regional war right there. This is all about bingo. This is all about the, get into the middle of the Tootsie Pop. The middle of the Tootsie Pop is Jerusalem, is the temple spot, El Aqsa. Okay, these people have tried to inch their way closer and closer and closer and closer to this spot for thousands of years at this point, right? For thousands of years at this point. So again, in order for them to do that, in order for them to complete this long prophetic prophecy that Bibi Netanyahu came out last week and said himself, he sees it like it's close, he can taste it. These aren't my words, these are his words, man. This greater Israel conspiracy and stuff that was going on for all these years and stuff like that. Well, look what we have here. E1 settlements, right? Y'all are now really got settlements passed and in place to build homes on the Gaza Strip and take over that border, right? Y'all are now searching for Palestinian refugee sites, right? Y'all want Syria to do it. Y'all want France to do it. Y'all want all these other nations to take in. Y'all are trying to, showcase Palestinians off to the world, saying who's going to take these people as we ethnically cleanse them and move them from this territory so we can take it. Okay. That's what you have going on here. And the scary thing about it is that my whole point is that in order for this to stop, the Epstein thing has to come up to the front again. This cannot go away. Okay. Luckily, here in October, we're going to get a resurgence. So Trump and them, all this deployment and all this tariff shit, all this other shit, man. Good, man. You got here in October, September and October, man. In October, some of the Epstein victims are speaking out and releasing tell-all books and all these different things and stuff like that. And then I think the Congress with the grand jury sealing some of the files and stuff like that and refusing to unseal the files, that's going to have to come. And then now Congress is back off of that recess that they had where they went to Israel and partied. They're back off of that recess, and they're getting back to Jane Calmer and these other people are trying to get back to these files, right? Because, if our government has had a hostile takeover, and it's through foreign agencies like AIPAC and Mossad and all these different things, well, we're going to have to get to their lover board. We're going to have to get to their cover board. We're going to have to get to their blackmail artist, which is Mr. Jeffrey Epstein himself. Okay. Now I know Ghislaine came out and she had an interview after being, released from prison into a less maximum secure prison, and then going from a less maximum secure prison to somewhere else, and then going from somewhere else, and then to being able to sit down with, I think Todd Blanche, and feeding him a whole bunch of bullshit. Talking about Epstein's house didn't have cameras. Epstein worked at Ritalin, and Epstein did this, and I built the Epstein house, and there was no cameras, and I don't think that if you're over 18, it's considered sexual. All these different things that she said. Oh, and Trump wasn't on there, and all these powerful people from the UAE, and I don't know what Epstein's relationship with Ayub Barak was. I seen him in a picture, but I haven't really heard much about it outside of there, so I don't think they really have much of a deep relationship. All this different bullshit that Ghislaine is spilling, basically saying to the world, essentially what she's doing is saying to the world, hey, powerful people that are still remaining out there, I'm not ratting on you guys. So if I do get out, if Trump does offer me the pardon and grant me the pardon, which is what I'm, applying for, which is what I'm on showcase for, which is what I'm doing this for, please don't kill me when I get out. Because I'm not ratting on you guys. I'm keeping it G, I'm keeping it Ghislaine. I'm holding our little secret of finger banging children. I'm keeping it a secret. I won't implicate that, presidents in the Middle East and kings and queens and Prince Harry and all these powerful people. Good thing fucking Elizabeth motherfucking who's the queen that died a few years ago? Good thing she died. Good thing the Pope got the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? All these powerful people, man, in cahoots, man, finger banging people, finger banging children. This is what I'm talking about. And so you got her setting up to be pardoned by the Trump administration. We see that clear as day. And look at what popped up. I didn't even know that popped up. Where is that at? That's Mr. Netanyahu's words right there. Where are we at? Let me see. It says, Netanyahu says he's on a historic and spiritual mission, feels a connection to vision of greater Israel. This was not supposed to be. Trump even weighed in on Cracker Barrel logo change. Same with Taylor Swift engagement. He's trying to distract us all. Yeah, I seen that. He's talking about everything, and then he keeps passing this off, trying to buy more time, talking about it's a Democrat hoax. You know what I'm saying? Why he's working on more and more time. They're trying to get their ducks in a row. Ghislaine is going to get pardoned, man. Or she's going to go missing from this low maximum secure prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Could y'all stop telegraphing what the fuck y'all are doing? I already told you guys it's so obvious anymore, bro. So obvious anymore. Ghislaine could still not explain to us what the relationship with her Mossad father, Robert Maxwell, and Epstein was, right? Okay, and how did Epstein get chosen by Lex Wessner and the Mega Group people to run all these companies and run all these offshore companies? And how did he college? I mean, like, he didn't have special education. This guy was a nobody. How did he end up with billions of dollars in his possession as far as accounts manageable? How is he managing all these super powerful people's accounts and having power of attorney over all their business affairs? You know what I'm saying? So we know what Epstein was sent into these countries to do, in these places to do, right? We know this, right? So we cannot skip this step. This step cannot be skipped, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. This step cannot be skipped, bro. This list in this blackmail ring in this operation implicates powerful people in our government. Those people have to go. Anybody that is out here fucking kids and stuff like that cannot be controlling a government. But I'm here to tell you guys something. Most of them do. Most of them literally do, because they bow down to something bigger, something more demonic, something more evil. You guys don't have to believe me, man. But again, we've talked on here about Moloch. We talked on here about Belial. We talked about how those iterations of gods, they just didn't go away. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't go away. They outlawed that kind of thinking. That was no longer a law. But back in Old Testament time and stuff like that, people sacrificing and stuff like that was a thing. Even in European culture as early as the 18, I mean, they still do it today is my point, guys. But it was more paganism and those kind of like cult-like or sacrificial kind of offering kind of thinking things was more normal in society just even 100 years ago, 200 years ago, right? I'm serious. All through Europe and even in, other places and stuff. But I'm just saying, you guys got to understand that Moloch and people having this idea and this close connection to sacrificing something, whether it be like actual blood sacrifices or even like possession sacrifices, because even in Hollywood with fame and stuff like that, people say you got to give up something. You have to sacrifice something. We all know that that's really kind of like a motif for a lot of things. In order for you to have any success, there has to be a sacrifice, right? That's what this movie Him that is coming out next month is actually about the sacrifices that athletes may make in sports. And I think it's going to take a look into more of a evil occultic glance into some of the sacrifices some great sports figures we know might have taken, right? Just outside of the commitment to the sport. But I'm just saying, like, this idea has permeated itself through human psychology for literally thousands of years. So I know Moloch and Belial did not just go away. They didn't just go away. I think that it transforms. And that's where you hear about cults. That's where you hear about secret societies. And when you look into the Bohemian Grove and all these different things, it's always centered around sacrifice and actual blood sacrifices, blood oaths, and blackmail. It's also centered around pedophilia in nature. It's also, you know, some of that initiation involves you committing a grand sacrifice like that, which is like, you know, sticking your fucking dick in something that you shouldn't stick your dick into. That's what they have to do. They have to implicate themselves. He said in Hollywood, they gave up all their baby oil to Sean Combs. Maxwell will be chilling with Bigfoot. And Maxwell's going to end up like a myth, like Tupac, Bigfoot, and Maxwell and Elvis. It's going to be Elvis, Maxwell, Epstein, because we don't even know where Epstein is. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he dead? Is he not dead? Can we get clarification? Do we know that? You know, was he killed? Was it suicide? You know, that's the whole thing with the cameras and the footage and the prison footage and all of this shit that they're pulling right in front of our eyes. More to it is, guys, how do I stop sharing this? Moral to it is that, again, I can't get on here and stress to you guys how much it is important that we first, before we move on in the news cycle, before we get distracted by anything else, we really kind of get to the bottom of, well, who in our government may have been compromised because they're fucking kids. I think that that's pretty fucking important. You know what I'm saying? I think it's pretty important for us to find out if, like, you know, in order for this governance to work, we might have to kind of weed out some of the people that are fucking kids. And not only are they fucking kids, but they're fucking kids in a blackmail operation of a foreign agent, foreign government. So now that foreign government literally has control over our body of government. Isn't that probably pretty important for us to figure out in order for us to unwind and untwist this web? I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, man, I'm really disgusted. I'll be back on Thursday, but I'm seriously disgusted with the fact that the non-disclosure of this Epstein list at the same time that Israel is ramping up their assault on Gaza, to me, obviously isn't coincidental. I don't think it's coincidental at all. I don't see how anybody with eyes can think it's coincidental, especially if you've been following the story. But it's just really urgent, really fucked up because, like, again, let's see, people are literally dying right now. Like, kids are dying for no fucking reason. And I'm trying to find this. Trying to find this picture because it's really not funny, man. It's really not funny. It really makes me mad. Really makes me mad that they get away with this once again, even though they've been exposed, the cover's been pulled off, and it's like, nope, they still got us. They still got us. They got us right where they want us, man. They got us right where they want us. Again, everybody, please keep an eye out for the E1 settlements, man. Look into the E1 settlements. Laura Loomer, you are a disgusting. I mean, she's disgusting without her actions. She looks horrible. But he says some people think Bin Laden's still alive too. Laura Loomer, her last week, or a week and a half ago, she brought to the Trump administration's attention that, you know, we're dealing with all this migration crisis and all this and that. And we're allowing Palestinians in on a visa, like a visa, card in order to receive health care. And so the Trump administration has halted that. And these are emergency visas that I mean, this, like, we seen the evil thinking in this administration and just how this control over our government goes weeks ago when they tried to pass that law to where AIDS, any nations basically speaking out about Israel's assault on Gaza will be refused emergency funds and emergency coverage. She does. She does. She sure does. I wouldn't be shocked if she is a man. I'm pretty sure she probably is, and she's probably, being a weirdo. She's probably implicated on some list. But yeah, so that happened, and then that was kind of revised and redacted and all that stuff. So, but like that thinking that if you speak out, if you're France, if you're anybody, like it's just so sick, bro. It's just so fucking sick what they're doing. It's so sick what they're doing. And so now you got, us refusing aid and emergency aid to starving women and children, but also kids that have gotten limbs blown off and stuff like that and need emergency surgery today. And again, remember, this is a broad question and tie it in with where you're at right now. But where do you think we're at in the season of America? You want to know broadly what I think, and then we can talk shit back and forth a little bit about it. I still think, I ain't gonna lie, Shane, we're in Revelations, broadly speaking. To me, we're still in Revelations. If this was a series, you would predict what to happen next. Feels like writers have writer's block right now, and the writing stagnant. I see what you're saying in one sense, but I also see in another sense when you think about the writers of scriptures. And what's funny about scriptures and how I was taught is that like we don't really break down what no one's ever really asked like what is scripture? You know what I'm saying? Like why do they call it scripture? And obviously it's a form of writing from a script, right? That's scripture. And when you're writing a script, it's usually written on things to come, things to pass, on like kind of like choreograph things that are coming down the pipeline. That's a script, right? And I'm saying that to say, to Shane's point about the writing being stagnant, when you're telling me, me and you keep saying, or we've been saying for years, like the simulation is broke, or like because we catch it all the time. We're like, oh, the simulator, like we catch it all the time. It's like it's so obvious. But that's the new earth. That's just our new level of thinking. Like we have elevated and graduated to this new plane of existence where our brain is, to where we can see all these telegraph moves before they happen. We can see it. So it seems like the simulation is slowing down. It's like, he said, ooh, I like that. I wasn't even thinking like that as far as Revelations or books of the Bible. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I said that we were in that time years ago. Like, again, I think that the revealing of the man of sin is a part of Revelations. Like the man of sin must be revealed in the Bible. And this is for all my Bible thumpers and stuff out there and stuff like that. Matthew, like the man of sin has to be revealed. And it talks about spiritual wickedness in high places and all this different stuff. But like, and it talks about mystery Babylon. But first, the man of sin has to be revealed. Okay, he has to be exposed. And this is why I said earlier in the pod that BB and them, like what's going on? They got their cover pulled off. Straight up. I got old. Y'all can go back through my, catalog, and I've talked about Hamas's role in all this. And I'm like, they really did. They did their Allah Akbar. They did their kamikaze mission. They did their suicide mission. They did their whole sacrifice for the greater good, because the Hamas attack on October 7th, I told y'all part of their attack and then shielding themselves how they are is to expose Israel on the world stage, because this apartheid nation, this thing has been going on between Israel and the Palestinians for forever, for a long fucking time. But it just, again, Shane talked about stagnance. Imagine being them to where they're just in this constant state for decades of them being under this control, right? In order for somebody to break that free, you got to, part of a resistance is this. So Hamas's attack on October 7th put this on the world stage. It puts this on the world stage. So now we're seeing Israel react the way they do with the world watching, right? And then that's when you get this whole unveiling. You get this whole unveiling of who Israel really is, right? Again, it's not coincidence that at the same time that we're seeing the whole Epstein thing, and people are connecting the Epstein thing to Israeli intelligence, we're also seeing Israeli intelligence be not in good light, right? So as of today, anti-Semitism is through the roof, and it's not based just off, it's not really actual Jewish people that follow the Torah and stuff like that are really victims of the Israeli government right now. This Israeli government has the whole entire world hostage because anti-Semitism right now in Europe, in America, obviously in the Middle East is through the roof, right? Bibi Netanyahu has said that they have to start a campaign. He wants AI to get involved. He wants these different algorithms to get involved in his fight on anti-Semitic speech because Israel's not in good favor in the world, right? France is turning on him. Paris is turning on him. Everybody's turning on this government, saying that the UN, everybody's turning in and saying what is going on, right? So to me, that always signified the revealing of the man of sin. We're seeing them for what they are. We're seeing them for what they are. This double strike, another, killing of media members, you know what I'm saying? Also harming American citizens again. All of this shit that you're doing, starving the Palestinians, annexing them, all of the thing, everything that you're doing reeks of Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like just on a grand scale, like it just objectively. You know what I'm saying? Like people just got this idea of Satan like as if he's like actually like a bull, and if he like was really walking the earth in flesh, like he would be some like Klopp's eye like bull. No, man, he's gonna reveal himself through men, just like God reveals himself through men. And if there's anything on earth right now that is like smelling of Satan to me, it's what this Israeli government is doing. So again, that's the revealing of the man of sin. That's the revealing of the man of sin. So we're seeing the man of sin, his pants is covered. I mean, his pants is pulled off. So right now what he's doing what Drake is doing. He's crashing out. He's pressing his red button. He's throwing shit at the wall. And we're seeing their propaganda throw at a wall and miss. We're seeing it. We're seeing they're trying all their old tricks, the anti-Semitic trope. So now, their final stage of what they're going to do, anti-Semitism speech is going to be outlawed. I already covered all this before. It's going to be a crime, just like it was during the Roman days of Jesus' times. That's how he got up on the cross, okay? They're going to ban this speech. They're going to ban these type of shows. They're going to ban this kind of content. And you are going, just like you are in Europe right now, you are going to be faced with time to speak out about this government, about this idea of this government. That is coming. So Shane, when you ask me what's next in the American show, it's that Israel is going to try to get this annexed territory. They're going to march in on Al-Aqsa. They're going to attempt to build the third temple after completing their Greater Israel project. And no, guys, this isn't just like a month thing or a 2-month thing. We're still years away from this, but they're putting all the moves and pieces for Eretz Israel, Greater Israel. The Greater Israel expansion is the E1 settlements that they have been trying to get passed for decades that the whole world was just like, absolutely not. What do you mean? Y'all are supposed to be working on a 2-state solution with the Palestinians. What the fuck y'all got these E1 settlements and E2 settlements and all this whole, this Gaza map, and it looks like y'all are taking territory here when y'all are supposed to be working towards diplomatic resolutions for this problem that's going on. You know what I'm saying? But of course, they're not. You know what I'm saying? They're not. So my whole point is they're going to complete that project. The next step of this is some of you fuckers is about to have to house some Palestinians. Who wants some Palestinians? Who wants some bomb broke ass Palestinians? You know what I'm saying? DJ Khaled, I sure hope you open up. DJ Khaled, I sure you're ready to open up your home, and take in some refugees. you've been blessed and fortunate, on the American dime, you've been afforded this life of luxury. And you've been afforded this ability to not even have to speak on the situation. So the least you can do is help some of these Palestinians that are getting ready to be knocking on people's doors here soon. Okay? So that's the next step. Then again, they're working in Syria right now today. As we speak, they're working in Syria right now. We already know Assad got overthrown and all this stuff, and the Syria government is toppled. Okay? They're also in Damascus. They're also going to Egypt. I know you and Qatar have worked on this ceasefire deal, which Hamas apparently agreed to. I don't know. Hamas apparently agreed to the Qatar and Egypt. Egypt and Qatar worked together to write up a ceasefire deal for Hamas to present to Israel. Israel apparently, from all the reports, has denied this ceasefire deal. So apparently there could have been an end to this war. And Hamas was going to release the rest of the hostages and stuff like that. But Israel has refused this ceasefire deal. But anyway, so again, after the UN settlement, you get all these other nations that they're going to work on gaining territory in those nations. And then they'll start working on Al-Aqsa. They already got the red heifer there. We talked about that on here before, even before Breaking Points covered it, even before all these other fucking platforms trying to cover some of the shit I'm talking about. We covered it on here. I told y'all the red heifer a while ago, that they had shipped over this red heifer and what the red heifer represents in the Bible. All of this shit is in the pipeline, guys. And again, this all goes to where is that thing that I had? Fuck me. What I was sharing earlier about Netanyahu's comments. Let me see if I can find Netanyahu's comments. I'm gonna really see if I can find Netanyahu's comments, bro. Patrick Bet David interviewed Netanyahu. Oh my God. I can't wait to see this. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. This shit's so sick, man. It's so sick, it's unbelievable, bro. I could spend more hours talking about this shit. It's so sick, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All right, I got some clips on Mr. Netanyahu. I ain't gonna lie. I need y'all to drop some comments, man. Y'all ain't nobody got nothing to say. Everybody scared.
Doesn't act like the European leaders, who doesn't succumb to this stuff. But if you're telling me that there's work to be done on Gen Z and across the West, yes. And by the way, it's not only our job. Doesn't act.
So he wants to work on Gen Z. He wants to work on propaganda for the Gen Z. Let me see.
It's very hard to fight the the deception, the lies, the starved children, the pictures of starved children who turn out to have cerebral palsy or other congenital diseases that.
Oh, this is so frustrating to hear him say that. Okay, the Israeli government, the IDF, the ministers, the Israeli cabinet is claiming that the pictures that we're seeing of the the starving Palestinians are some people with preconceived conditions and stuff like that, and it's all part of their deception and Hamas's deception to lie about what's going on. It's like, no, the GHF, the World Food Bank, other organizations have come in and said that it's a starving campaign going on, and it's a famine going on, and it's a humanitarian crisis going on. Not to mention, yes, there are a lot of those Palestinians and stuff like that have preconceived or preconditions and stuff like that, which is why it's important to be able to provide them aid and emergency food, because they're at risk people of dying. Because, of course, we know that there are actual survivors and kids and stuff like that with preconditions over there. We already know. I mean, just as there would be here during a humanitarian crisis. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, during last year's hurricane in North Carolina, if we got pictures from somebody with, low blood pressure or diabetes and stuff like that, and, it was all a part of a campaign to say that they're not getting enough aid, our government will say, oh, these people got preconceived or preconditions, pre-health conditions. It's like, okay, that doesn't take away from the fact that you are starving these people. You know what I'm saying? And it also, it just adds to the point that Laura Loomer, you're a sick, fat bitch who's going to sit around saying that, kids that have had legs blown off or, they got diseases and stuff like that and they need aid immediately. That's what those visas were for, to provide them aid immediately. They can't wait. They can't be a part of this blockade to where 2,000 people have died. Over almost 1,000 people have died trying to retrieve food to take it back to their encampments to feed the family that they try to support. Okay, some of these people with these preconditions can't sit around waiting for food and water for a few days, as the world drops it down from the fucking sky. They need to be shipped over into the United States, into the Americas, so they can be provided aid. Laura Loomer, does that make sense to you, fat bitch? I think Israel has the right to defend themselves, but what they're doing now goes beyond just defending. They're trying to remake the whole world, which one government has no right to do. Exactly. Yes, and Israel under no circumstance has a right to use the Palestinians as a hostage for a hostage situation. Okay? Again, I want everybody to understand that is what's being done in this world on the grand scale. When you narrow it all down, we are in this season of America, Shane. It's the movie where like America's under hostage. Everybody's just under hostage. There's a whole hostage situation. I said it earlier. Hamas literally has hostages under tunnels. Israel has literal hostages under tunnels. Israel is holding the American government hostage through the Epstein list. And then you have Israel holding the Palestinians hostage from a food blockade right now. It's just a whole bunch of hostages going on. What's up with hostages? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's holding each other hostage, okay? Just because Hamas has hostages don't mean you can hold another people hostage. How does this pass in the court of law in an act of war? You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh. What's going on? Hold on. Bear with me. I sure hope I'm still on. Oh, no. Bruh, can y'all hear me? This shit is crazy. Let's just hope it was just the internet going down. What's going on? My whole stream is gone. I ain't never seen it like this, bro. No cap. All right, we back, bro. I don't know what. Okay, you said you see me. Okay, good. All right, good. Thank God. Shane said, LOL, how can you defend yourself when you're the bully? You started to fight. It's not self-defense. You are. We see you. Okay. Zach said, I'm still listening to you. Almost 9 years of listening. I'm burnt out. Yeah. I can't remember. Oh, we were talking about just the world being held hostage. Yeah. Yeah, all of these different things are pointing to just a hostage situation. Like I'm saying, there's literal hostages, there's metaphorical hostages, there's blackmail hostages. There's just hostage situation after hostage situation. And unfortunately, like this whole thing, this whole rabbit hole, can't be unlocked until the hostages are let go. Something's going to have to fall on a sword. And again, like, Zach, I know you said about, Israel defending herself and stuff like that. Again, that is true, but I don't think that you can do a hostage for a hostage situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that holds up in any court of law. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone were to rob a store and have a hostage, could the task force then go get that person's mom and hold her hostage and do a hostage for a hostage situation? Would that hold up in a court of law if that lady sued the task force for doing that? You see what I'm saying? I don't think that would hold up. You can't, just because Hamas has Israelis hostage, apparently, you can't then hold Palestinians hostage. That's not allowed. We should outlaw nation building so people don't get killed in the process. Well, yeah, neo-conservatism and expansionist and all this other stuff has been the play. That's a bigger conversation for another day. But I just want to make sure we're all seeing this right and clear, okay? As Netanyahu continues on his media campaign to try to convince the American people and the rest of the world that what he's doing is ethical. And then in the other sense, coming out and saying he sees a historic vision in sight and he can taste greater Israel and all this different shit where it's like, whoa. But like, when we asked you about that for decades, you said no. When we talked about E1 settlements, you said no, you were looking for diplomatic solutions and stuff like that. But now it's like, you got the mitigated gall and the power to just like, you're doing what you're doing. So now we're really seeing your face for what it is. You take my ball, so now I take yours. It makes no sense to me either. It didn't work in Iraq and it won't work now. Of course it won't. The answer to warfare is bigger warfare. The answer to a gun is a bigger gun. That's why in order to solve the gun violence situation and crime and stuff like that, it takes peace. You know what I'm saying? That's how you combat that. And here you got a government that always says, you don't fight evil with evil. You don't fight dark with dark. You fight dark with light. But then we have the military industrial complex. You're like, how does that make sense then? We fight dark with dark all the time. We fight evil with evil all the time. When we don't like something or something that the country's doing, we go bomb their people. When we don't like what happened with Pearl Harbor, we bomb Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You know what I'm saying? We go kill innocent women and children all the fucking time. We're doing it in Somalia today, right now. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's just all hypocritical. It's just all hypocritical. And I get so sick of it. Bibi has gotten votes of no confidence multiple times. He's barely holding on to power, which is one reason why he's still at the shit. Zach, that's a good point. Zach is exactly right. And again, I always say that on here, that people have to remember that before that this Hamas situation goes up, that the Israeli people were trying to oust Netanyahu. Not only were they doing that in 2023, leading up to the October 7th incident, but they're doing it today. Like literally today, there's many of Israeli protests. And then you also have former IDF whistleblowers and all these different people that are out on his plan. They're like, yo, absolutely not. This is too much. There's a lot of those people out there. You guys should go hear from them. But you got Israeli people on the streets saying, stop. And then you also have the family of Israeli captives. So the hostages that Hamas has in these tunnels, the families of these hostages have begged the Trump administration and have begged Netanyahu to stop doing what they're doing, and please do not displace the Palestinians, because that they know that this is a death wish for their family members. They know that this is a death wish for their family members. So as much as Israel keeps talking about this being about the hostages and they must release the hostages, they sure aren't doing a good job at providing enough, threat to Hamas, but also like not too much threat to where, the hostages are being killed. Obviously, in a hostage situation, if a man is robbing a bank and he has a woman hostage, the task force that is responding to this knows not to apply so much pressure to the guy because he'll kill the hostage. That's the point of having a hostage. What Bibi Netanyahu is doing with the E1 settlements and all these different things is showing that he don't give a fuck about these hostages. Now, if y'all are going to march in on this territory and regain control of Gaza, why wouldn't Hamas just shoot the fucking hostages in the brain? Of course they would, if they really have the hostages, right? Because they're losing leverage. So what they would do, their only leverage is the hostage. It's like, okay, well, you said that this is about the hostages. Why don't we just blow your hostages' brains out the way since you want to march in on territory? But we'll see. We'll see. What I've read is that Hamas was ready to agree to a ceasefire written up by Qatar and Egypt, but I don't know. Maybe my sources were wrong. I don't know. I'll leave that for another day. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Lane is on here watching, but he ain't got nothing to say, man. I ain't feeling people's energy towards this situation. It's very, very, very dire. Very dire. And you got evangelical Christians supporting this Zionistic movement. You got, there's just so many people, man. I can't believe we just got to sit around. We got to sit around and watch this happen. And then in a few years or somewhere down the line when history writes itself, well, I'll have to hear from all these people that lived during the time, when the story finally writes itself and it makes more sense. And I understand that for a lot of people because a lot of people aren't into geopolitics and it's rarely confusing. So it's like when you see, all these big, powerful, different entities fighting and stuff like that, and you're not really sure, you're not real well read up on the situation, it's like it's best I just stay on the sideline because I don't know who's actually right and everybody's probably lying. So I understand that for a lot of people, but you just gotta understand that the world sat back and the world sat back in. What? No, that's just crazy. He said, laugh my ass off. He said, I'm not feeling y'all's energy. I think we're just waiting on some shit to pop off. They're not doing too much. Needle movement. Shane, I can't believe you're saying that, bro. They're literally talking. They've literally admitted that they're doing what people said that they wanted to do the whole time. They've literally admitted that they're committing genocide. Trump has agreed to land swap it. I mean, not land swap it. Trump has agreed to not get involved as Israel regains control of Gaza and then as they march on more territory. And then they also have, committed to these E1 settlements where they're building 3,000 houses on Palestinian land. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm saying. To say that they're not doing nothing is a disservice to actually what they're doing. They're doing the big one. They're actually doing the big one. He said, this is why people don't vote. No matter who the president is, nothing ever changes. That is correct, Zach. That is until we get a foreign government out of our policies, out of our politics. That is until we unwrap the tentacles of AIPAC around our politicians. Okay, so that's why I was talking about the importance of the Epstein list. That has to be revealed in order for the American people to experience some sort of freedom. Shane said, LOL, yeah, but that's just confirmation to what me and you've been saying. I'm saying we knew we would be to this point. So I want to see what is the result of this. Not doing anything is tongue in cheek, LOL. So let me think about your first comment. Yeah, but I'm just saying that people's voices need to be loud right now to this point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it should have been loud a long time ago. We're really we're already at the part of prophecy to where it's like, the ball is rolling. And I've said it on here for years that once this ball got rolling, that there's no rolling it back up the hill. The toothpaste don't go back in the tube. So we're going to have to answer for all of this shit that's going on up in Ukraine and Russia and China, all of this shit going on, we will have to answer for this. None of this stuff just goes away. We're in the belly of this beast right now, guys. Like, we're in the midst of this period. Like, you know, there's active wars going on, but they're debating real war, you know, real nuclear war, and that just don't go away. You know, we know about the Cuban Missile Crisis. We know about the Cold War and stuff like that. But, like, we're in the melting pot. We're in the heating element of this story right now. So I understand what you're saying, Shane, in the sense, like, you know, like when Iran and Israel exchanged back in June and stuff like that, the world's attention was at large, right? Everybody was like, oh, shit. But that's what I'm saying, man. That's already where it's at too much of a dangerous point, man. And also with that, you know, we're right outside of that starting back up again, man. Iran is about to get struck within the next few weeks again. And they're trying to, you know, even with, you know, Operation Midnight Hammer and you know, all that stuff, Iran is still willing to speak, diplomatically with the United States about trying to garner up not a ceasefire, but a permanent peace deal, right? And if that is not had, the Iran and Israel situation that we just seen in June is coming right up again. Israel is going to start, like, they're going to be fighting right again after this ceasefire is done. They will be fighting again, and then everybody's attention will be all back on it, and everybody's on pins and needles. But meanwhile, this whole time, like, Israel is like just murderously like assaulting Gaza right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're killing Palestinians every day, and then they're killing Palestinian journalists, and then now they're literally annexing the territory. That's what this whole war is about. You know, soon Iran ain't gonna have nothing to fight about except defending, you know, their little bit of hope, you know. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because again, Iran is about to be all surrounded. Iran is just surrounded. But the reason why Iran is putting up a front and all that stuff is because they're the only one in that region that can do something about Israel bullying Palestine. They're the only ones. I mean, you got your rebels, you got the Houthis and all these little other fractions and stuff like that try, but like, this is their last resistance. You know, this is it. This is it. Any chance of them remaining in the Middle East or keeping that territory is now, you know, as they're fighting. And I'm just saying, Israel is doing a lot. They're doing a lot right now. They're doing a lot. Here we go. I didn't see your comment, Lane. I'm geeked. Everybody out of water and gas. I don't know what's about to shake, but tension is high and morals low. Russia got to have a breaking point too. They've been losing the chess match daily. Does Elon insert himself in any way, or has he effectively been removed? And what does it look like if he does? Gaza is still on the map. Ain't but 11 Palestinians left. Damn, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was way behind on the comments, but yeah, Lane, to your point, everybody's out of water and gas. I don't know what's about to shake, but the tension is high, morale is low. Russia got to have a breaking point. That's what I'm saying. Like, Lane keep trying to focus on the Russia and Europe war, and I'll be telling them, boy, would you put your eyes on the fucking prize? Would y'all put y'all's eyes on the big fucking prize? I'm sitting up here telling you what's happening. I'm sitting up here telling you what's happening. You know, like, good God. First off, I should be thanked, because we're, you know, how much of us would still be in the dark if I wouldn't telegraph all this shit? I'm telling you what's happening. You know, the Russian-Ukraine war is really more so about money laundering and a land grab, more than this Israel and Hamas situation is more so about a holy war, which triggers the you know, Armageddon. It's the more staked war. You know what I'm saying? So I'm paying attention to what's going on in Russia and Ukraine because it has this element. It was the first real domino to fall, but I don't exhaust a lot of my energy there because I don't think you know, you got the Russiagate scandal and stuff like that, but that's not the key to unlocking the foreign agency that is infiltrated our government. The key to unlocking that is this whole Israeli situation, this whole Epstein thing. Everything that's wrong right now implicates the Israeli government, Mossad, that. So like that's where my focus is. As far as Elon, Elon is in some trouble. Elon is in some trouble. Now we know he tried to get back. Iran is out of water. I don't know how long they're going to be able to do anything. Shaking my head. Excuse me. Elon is in a funny situation right now because we all know what Elon's crux is and what his goal was, right? The technocrats, they're trying to position themselves. The technocrats is positioning themselves to be able to hijack anybody. They're positioning themselves for takeover. So Israel, you go ahead and get Al-Aqsa. You go ahead and rebuild the third temple. You go ahead and complete your Greater Israel project. In Russia, you go ahead and get that territory. In Trump, you go ahead and turn the guards on your citizens, and y'all go ahead with all that. But at the end of the day, the technocrats is positioning themselves to be the king or queen no matter what, because they're going to be the ruler. They're going to, with Palantir and this surveillance state, which Trump is toying with all this, deployment with the National Guards and cracking down on crime and stuff like that. I've sat up here and told you guys again what that's all about. Okay. We are entering into RoboCop. We're entering into Eagle Eye. We're entering into Enemy of the State. We're entering into this era of police surveillance. Okay. Police surveillance to where, not only is it going to be a crime to have anti-Semitic speech, but they're going to be able to narrow it down. They would be able to surveil my face right now and have it like you see on the movies with the red line that goes through, when you're about to rob the bank or whatever, and they have all the security alarm systems, and it's the red, things that if you touch, it triggers the alarm. That surveillance thing is getting ready to happen, okay? And that positions your technocrats in a place to where they're the oligarch. They're the powerful person. So we know that is Elon's ultimate goal. They were trying to attach themselves to whatever administration they wanted, whatever administration they felt will win. Sam Altman is doing the same thing. We know with what he got going on and kind of his rebranding, or Mark Zuckerberg as well. Mark Zuckerberg is the real failure in all this. I ain't gonna lie. Mark Zuckerberg is the real loser in all this right now. Right now, Mark Zuckerberg's kind of been like knocked off site. Now he did make a little power move recently. We'll have to discuss, but Meta didn't hit as much as what Elon and Sam Altman is doing. But we got Sam Altman and Elon right now wrestling for that position with OpenAI versus Tesla and ChatGPT and Gemini or Grok and all that shit. So you got that going on as well. But essentially, what Elon plays in all this is that motherfucker's the hand toucher. That motherfucker wants to be worshipped as the god. You know what I'm saying? He need to worry about all them fucking baby kids he got out there. That's what Elon really need to worry about. I ain't never seen a nigga with 14 kids have so much fucking time to do all this other shit. What person with 14 fucking kids got all this time? We say Elon's the busiest man. We be wondering like how Elon does the shit he does in his professional space. We don't even ever mention the fact that the motherfucker got 14 fucking kids. It's like we just be confused on how he's able to run Tesla, run this, have Starlink, have SpaceX, have this, have that. It's like, okay, how are you doing this? I say Neuralink. I've been saying Neuralink. But in that equation, we never even talk about, okay, are you seeing your 14 kids? Well, what's up with your 14 kids? Are you doing anything with your 14 kids? Lane got one kid and he be busy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They say one kid, just tied up with just one kid. This motherfucker got 14 of these motherfuckers. And he still got time for all these companies and all that stuff like that. So that's where it's like, okay, I've been skeptical about the clown anyway, right? But the point of the matter is he's trying to position himself in a position of power that, it used to be, you think of the Rothschilds in the Napoleon and the wars with Napoleon and the UK and all that stuff like that, Great Britain, where the Rothschilds at the end, they were financing both sides so that way they could position themselves the winner ultimately in the end anyway, right? And you got these technocrats playing this same game to where they were ready to invest in any party or whatever they seen would roll out, their projects and stuff. So that way they could position themselves as the ruler in any way. Because again, like I said on the show plenty of times, once this tech is so dangerous, bro. It's so fucking dangerous, bro. It's so dangerous because how easily it's monopolized. You know what I'm saying? They can give us the gadgets, they can give us the iPhones and stuff like that. But again, these people that are coming up with these processes and these long language models and this AI, artificial intelligence and stuff like that, these coders, you know what I'm saying? Remember in the Matrix, it's the coders that really maintain a lot of the powers, the hackers. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the ability to upload the antidote, upload the viruses. They could shut down systems and stuff like that. So as we walk into this new world of police surveillance and artificial intelligence, stuff like that, again, I said on my last stream, like, where the hackers at, man? I need to tap in with the hackers. I know 2022 was about the scammers and COVID was about the scammers. Fuck the scammers. I need to start hanging out with the hackers. I need the hackers because the hackers is going to be the key to all of this shit. Just like in fucking Matrix, bro. So again, as we walk down that path and when we are giving the keys of power to these technocrats because they got the keys to the codes. And like the government ain't gonna know. You think Joe Biden knows anything about artificial intelligence? Be real. For all of you guys out there that believe into democracy and all that stuff like that, that can be trumped. That can be trumped easily. If you got one of these technocrats come up with some sort of thing and our government buys in and our government don't got a fucking clue, there's really no checks and balances when it comes to these fucking technocrats. There's no checks and balances because how y'all gonna check a technocrat? How y'all gonna check somebody that is coming up with models and shit that y'all don't understand nothing about? They could be selling y'all bullshit in cup water and y'all won't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? So Elon plays a role in all this because he's trying to position himself as the ruler. And then he also has all these outs, man. He trying to nuke Mars. He trying to get on Mars by 2030 and occupy Mars and all these. He has the ability to be able to escape his damage anytime he wants. He won't be able to, but he's working on his escape as well, right? And then you got this spaceship supposedly coming. I don't even want to get into it. We'll have to cover 13 Atlas at some point. We'll have to cover this 13 Atlas and this spaceship that's hurling towards Earth that look like it has nuclear power, nuclear capability, and all the shit that they're reporting. Harvard astrophysicist that is reporting this. We'll have to cover that. But I do kind of want to cut it there. We talked about a lot today. Again, I do want to say, Drake, stop acting like Netanyahu. Stop acting like Karen. Stop it. I also want to say, Trump, we see what you're doing. We know you're fake cracking down on crime. We know you're mad at Venezuela and all this domestic shit that you're up to. Just save it for David, dude. Let's do this in order. Let's priorities here, sir. Priorities. Epstein list first. Okay. Let's get rid of probably a foreign intelligence in our government. So, and it starts with the Epstein list. Okay, so let's prioritize that. Okay. Also, media members out there, be careful how you guys are trying to write Mr. Bryant's legacy. As I said earlier in the beginning of the show, be very fucking careful. Remember, he has family and young children out here. And y'all are doing a nasty disservice as y'all wanted to do this whole time for his career. Also, what else? We talked about Drake. Oh, shout out to hip hop again. We got into that whole conversation about hip hop's impact and influence. And then lastly, man, well, not lastly, but I do want to say Zelensky, cut it out, bro. Like, they agreed to $1 billion in weapon sales. Now you want $1 billion a month. Like, dude, we understand you're the welfare queen of the West. Like, you're the welfare king of the West, Mr. Zelensky. Welfare. You bark a lot of demands and stuff like that for somebody who can't put anything on the fucking table. But we know that Mr. Zelensky is also a part of a money laundering scheme. That's a topic for another day. And then lastly, Mr. Netanyahu, Mr. Man of Sin. Stop getting on this Elon's internet trying to convince the American people that you're not the devil, that you're not Satan. We know you're Satan. Okay, you've been exposed. Okay, so like feed them Gazans, let them into the United States to get aid. Again, remember, like I think you're losing the plot because you're spiraling so far out of control. Like you're supposed to be like convincing us that you're not assaulting Gazans. You're supposed to be convincing the American people in the West, in the United Nations, that this is strictly about Hamas. You're not doing a good job at that, sir. You're not. So work on that, Satan. Okay. I'm so sick of you, Satan. So sick of you. Okay. But that's all I got for today. Anybody got anything else before I hop off here? Y'all got a minute? Y'all got a minute before I hop off here? They done got me going. It's 10 o'clock. I really want to eat some motherfucking food, but Satan himself is just on my nerve, man. He's on a whole campaign run trying to convince us that he's not Satan. It's like, dude, we see you, Satan. Like, we clearly see you. Okay, like what the fuck? Golly. Y'all sacrificing heifers and all, y'all doing all types of weird shit over there, man. All types of ritualistic shit, man. Oh, you got the pedophiles fleeing to your nation. You got the pedophiles fleeing to Israel. What's going on with that? Pedophiles just, hey guys, R. Kelly, there's a rule out there. It's called right to return. Okay. All people of Jewish descent, which we can probably prove, you know, they don't do DNA tests and shit like that in Israel. They don't want it to be about, you know, ethnic ties to that land. They don't like that because it keeps coming back Ashkenazi. You know, it keeps coming back Ashkenazi and Khazarian, you know, European. But hey, R. Kelly and maybe Drake, guys, Drake's Hail Mary could be his right to return. If he gets convicted for being a pedophile and liking them young, you know, he could just flee to Israel. That apparently, you know, if you're a pedophile or if you murder people or anything and you're in U.S. jurisdiction and stuff, you can be extradited to Israel because you have a right to return. You have a right of passage to return. That's another good benefit that they have out in Israel, is that you can commit crime on American soil and you can, you know, finger bang little girls and little boys. And as long as you say that you are from Israel or you want to visit Israel and go to Israel, you have a right of return. So there's the cheat code, my fellow freaks out there. Just go ahead and say that you want to visit Israel and you're Jewish. That's all I got for today, guys. I'll be back on Thursday with more. I want you guys to fucking fix y'all's attitudes by Thursday. Because we got a lot to talk about. And we got a lot of exposing to do, man. We got a lot of exposing to do. But that's all I got for today. I thank everybody for tuning into the stream. You guys know what to do. Please like, comment, and share this. And drop some comments below. But yeah, share this here page too before they make it illegal to do so.